You're listening to Football Friday Night on demand exclusively on 600 ESPN El Paso. Stay up to date with high school football scores, updates, and news by downloading the free 600 ESPN El Paso mobile app.
All right, welcome back to the final segment here on Sports Talk today. Adrian Broadus, along with Angel Munoz and Paul McKinnon. Let's head out to the SAC right now. A huge game, and it looks like the Franklin Cougars have taken the lead. Let's join Alex Nicolas and get Football Friday Night started a little bit early here on the show. Last time we checked, Americas was leading in this game. The tides have turned in this one. Franklin now on top of Americas. Let's go out to Alex Nicolas, who's joining us now here on the phone lines. Alex, give us the latest.
1:11 left here in the fourth quarter. Franklin leading Americas 25-21. You're right, Adrian. The last update you guys had, it was 21-19. Americas was holding a lead. Americas is on a 14-play, or probably about a 60, 70-yard drive at that point. They lined up to go for a field goal, which was about a 23-yard attempt. And then Americas, with a false start, a pre-snap penalty would move them back. They would again try to go from the field goal. They would be kicking to the south. This would be on the far hash. The snap would be low, and the kick would be blocked, and then Noah Alvarez would pick it up and run about 69, 70 yards to the house, untouched. Extra point would be no good, and this is where we're at now. It's going to be a fourth down. I'm going to call it about 12 for Americas. The ball's going to be on the far hash at the Americas 40-yard line. The Blazers are out of timeouts, 1:11 to go, and a 25-21 game that saw Americas hold pretty much a 14-0 lead for a big chunk of that opening half. So Moore comes out of an empty formation, trips to the near side on fourth down. Moore with a deep drop, stops, looks, throws in the middle of the field, and it's going to be intercepted. I believe that's Bo Sparks, and it is Bo Sparks, who's had 2 touchdown catches tonight, 96 yards through the air, and he comes up with a big interception, and that should just about do it, fellas, with 63 seconds left in the ballgame.
Alex, stay with us right here as you kind of gather yourself and update some of the stats in this one. So Mark Moore, Paul McKinnon, is trying to make something happen, driving down the field, and the pass is intercepted. Not only is Bo Sparks impressive in the wide receiving aspect, but now he comes up with the biggest defensive play of the night.
Yeah, and playing a lot of D-back. I mean, like I said, I saw the first half. He stopped a touchdown that turned into a botched field goal. So even something that doesn't really show up in the stat page, Bo Sparks made the play, breaking on the ball, stopped the touchdown, when in turn turned into stop the points because they missed the field goal wide left. America's a lot of missed opportunities in that first half. As I said, 14-zip at that time. Had a chance to go up 3 scores with that field goal. Would have been 17-zip. Did not get that accomplished. Franklin down the field scores a touchdown with seconds on the clock. 14-7 halftime, and to me, that's when his game really ended.
Back to Alex out at the SAC right now. Alex, give us the latest. What is Franklin doing?
Franklin is just sitting on a victory formation, 29 seconds to go. Cameron Bird to a left knee, and that will do it. And gentlemen, that will wrap up at least a share of the district title for the Franklin Cougars. That'll mark the 12th district title. But again, next week, there's a team in that south end zone that's watching this game with a lot of intrigue. That's the Pebble Hills Spartans. Pebble Hills will face Franklin next week, which could come down to split district champions or if Franklin's going to take it outright. And just like Paul mentioned, when I look at this game, it's missed opportunities really for Americas. There was a sequence, and I think Paul mentioned it early in the first half, where if Cameron Bird was hit, they called it an incomplete pass. It looked like a potential fumble where Americas would start in plus territory. So it was that type of night, even though, like Paul also mentioned, it seemed like Americas was dominating early on in that first half as well.
Wow, Alex. Hey, Alex, will you hang on with us? We'll bring you back on closer to the top of the hour, and then we'll get you a full game recap as we get ready for that Montwood and Pebble Hills start. Would you hang with us?
Sounds good, man. Let's do it.
All right, Alex Nicolas out at the SAC. Paul, I can't believe it. Franklin pulls it off.
Yeah, I'm sure Americans can't believe it either because it's when they felt like they had right in their hands. Alex is way too nice. Looked like a fumble, not looked like a fumble, was a fumble. He got blown up by Sepulveda. And never, his arm didn't come through for a pass. That was a fumble. Refs did him a favor there.
Wow.
Yeah, but America's, still themselves to blame. The way they dominated that first half and to only come out with a 14-7 lead. As I said, that's when I told. And getting the third quarter kickoff to start things off, I told Alex, at the time we're sitting next to each other, I said, there's the game right there.
Recapping yesterday's games, Paul. First off, we had the Chapin Huskies defeat El Dorado 48-7. Eastlake also topped Socorro 43-20. Chapin High has now won 6 games in a row heading into that game against Elvira next week.
And they really have that air game cranked up. I don't know if it's their passing game or Dorado's lack of a pass defense. Guys running wide open. And Mason Standifer, I tell you what, I like his footwork. This is a guy you root for. Remember, as a sophomore, he got the starting job at Chapin, broke his collarbone about a month into the season, didn't play the rest of the year. And last year was COVID. What kind of a season was that? So you have a guy who's a 3-year starter, but really, is he a 3-year starter? Maybe he needed that month to get his feet under him. He looked okay season opener against Andrus, but boy, they really do have it cranked up now and got a couple of nice receivers.
We were talking about Coach of the Year candidates previously with Steve, and Tony Martinez was mentioned, Garrett Coder out of Riverside was mentioned. Got to throw Ryan Warner as maybe an honorable mention in just the way that he's helped turn around this Chapin program.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, it kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, we were talking, I say we, I mean me, talking poorly about the Super 5A district. Like, what is this? Okay, Delvine wins, and then the rest of them are, garbage somewhat. Well, Chapin has changed that narrative. They really turned it around. And, looking forward to next week's, Delvine's got to win their game tonight against Bel Air. Bel Air hasn't shown up in the first half, I don't think, all season long. I'd be surprised if they did tonight. But Delvi 2-0, Chapin 2-0 up at Irvin Memorial Stadium next week. That would be a fun game to watch.
Eastlake topping Socorro. They allowed 20 points against the Bulldogs, but it seemed like the Falcons pretty much had this one in the bag.
Yeah, I would say gift points. I think those are the same 20 points Socorro got against Eastwood the week prior, and I don't know, what did Eastwood put on them? 84, I think, tying the record set by Socorro back in the day, who put the same number of points on Parkland, I think, in 88 or something like that. Most of that coming from a Alex Nicolas text. That's my memory from a week ago, so don't quote me on it. But, gift points, Socorro non-competitive in that 6A district with everybody moving up and down. Too bad those guys have so many people because they would love to move down to regular 5A or maybe even a 4A so the Bulldogs could compete. It's been a while.
Pre-game show is right around the corner. Adrian Broadus along with Paul McKinnon will get you underway here for week number 10 of Football Friday Night. Reporters across all the city of El Paso. We'll have our Cisco Movers game of the week with Austin and Jefferson. Another big one, Riverside Clint will decide the 1-4A district title. So stay tuned, stay with us. You could listen in on our free mobile app powered by United Bank, and also tune in as we continue here on Football Friday Night. Stay with us as it continues on 600 ESPN El Paso. No Bo Bagley tonight. It's Adrian Broadus along with Paul McKinnon, and we are bringing you Football Friday Night Week 10 edition. So many playoff implications on the line across the city of El Paso tonight, and there are district title contenders that are also that will also clash. It'll be a great Week 10. Paul McKinnon, thanks so much for doing this as always, and should be a lot of fun this week.
Yeah, this is always the fun time of the year. Nothing like next week when everything's on the line, but almost every game is meaningful, even the bad ones. Oh, the good team is going to kill the bad team. Yeah, but this is what happens, when they do, or surprisingly when they don't. Chaos.
We'll get back to Alex Nicolas for a recap of Franklin and Americas. We'll run down the full Week 10 lineup. But first, let's get out to our Cisco Movers game of the week. It's Riverside and Clint. Joe Rodriguez is out there. Joe, take it away. Give us the preview for this matchup tonight.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Out here at Riverfront Stadium. Yeah, for this game of the week, possible district championship could be decided here tonight in a game between the Clint Lions and the hosting Riverside Rangers. I do have to say that Clint already took their opening drive. They won. They were the first team to receive, and they have just crossed the 50 and are into Riverside territory. It's going to be interesting to see for this Riverside defense, how they stop this all-out rushing attack by the Clint Lions, a team that is averaging a total of 384.3 yards per game on the ground and has 95% of their offense. And right now, thus far, 3 plays in the game for the Clint Lions, and they've all been rushing plays. On the other side of things, the hosting Riverside Rangers have played 10 weeks in a row. Their bye week is the final week of the season, which is next week. And over these last 9 weeks, for the regular season, it's the Riverside Rangers team that has averaged 55 points, and while only allowing 15.7 points. So this game should be, without a doubt, one of the best that we have on the slate tonight. And right now, as I'm finishing up this report, the Clint Lions have just crossed the 30-yard line and are threatening to get into the red zone on their first opening drive. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you on the studio. Right now, we do have 9 minutes and 39 seconds left in the opening quarter, and it is a scoreless ball game between the Clint Lions and the Riverside Rangers.
And Adrian, with a win tonight, Riverside wins this district title. 2-4A would be their first title since 2005. That was the penultimate year of Tom Work. I think 06 was his final, and they just got nosed out in that one. A second-place finish in that district before J.J. Calderon took over. So a huge deal for Riverside. Remember, they lost this contest to Clint last year. 14-7 finished as runners-up behind Clint. So, they have blood in their eyes tonight. But Clint off to a good start. A wishbone team Clint is, as you heard Joe Rod say, they want to run the football, and it sounds like early they are. Riverside, same thing, 2,000-yard backs in their backfield. Nobody else has that. The quarterback, Angel Munoz, has been hot of late. In fact, he's the team's leading rusher. And then you throw in Jose Guardado, who's good for 100 or a couple every week. So, yeah, should be a run fest out there, and Joe Rod's watching it. It really is our game of the week, deservedly so.
You say Angel Speedy Munoz is leading them on the ground, but Jose Guardado right behind him, 1,285 rushing yards on the year. The Rangers in the past 3 games, he talks about the 55 points. How about averaging 66 points over the past 3 games for the Riverside Rangers offense?
And when you say offense, really it's not just the offense, because the defense is pretty darn dangerous too. Remember, they come into this contest as the number 1 team in takeaways. I think it's 27 coming into this contest. The Valenzuela kid is the one who has the most 6 fumble recoveries. Talk about a nose for the ball and an interception as well. I think we said this a week or so ago. He's got 7 all by himself. That's more than a lot of teams.
One more game to get to right now. It's a final out at the SAC with Franklin topping Americas. Let's go back out to Alex Nicolas and get a game recap of Franklin and Americas. Alex, go ahead.
District 1-6A continues to prove how close it is, the parity of that district, as Franklin ekes out a 25-21 win over Americas. This was a game where Americas led 14-0 in the opening stages of the second quarter. Franklin would get a late touchdown there from Cameron Bird to Franco Hernandez as the game went into halftime 14-6. And then it looked like Americas may put this one away. Mark Moore with a 6-yard touchdown run at the 3:20 mark of the third quarter, making it 21-6 Americas.
No, I think we held Alex for too long, and now I think we lost him. Alex, we're going to try one more time. Do we have you? Do we have you still with us, Alex? Nope. No, I don't think we have him. So unfortunately, we lost Alex right in the middle of that one. We'll get him back on.
Yeah, just like America's lost the game that they had in their hip pocket. Yeah, that's a little harsh. The good news is, it didn't really mean anything to Americas, whether they won this one or not. If they won tonight, we talked about this. All it meant is that they were going to force Eastwood to beat Coronado tonight. Eastwood would have lost to Coronado. That would have been it. We would have had our 4 playoff teams. Now the fact that Americas is lost, Eastwood can lose tonight to Coronado if they wish. Those 2 teams finish with each other next week. America's at Eastwood, and the winner of that game likely is going to claim the 4th and final playoff spot. The other 3 guys, Eastlake, Pebble Hills, and of course the front runners Franklin, who clinched at least a share of their first district crown since 2018. They're already in the playoffs.
Back out to Alex out at the SAC with Franklin topping America's 25-21. Alex, take it away.
Yes, sir. So I was at basically Franklin was down 21-12 with 2:53 left in the third quarter, and then Cameron Bird would get hot. He'd hit Bo Sparks for a 6-yard touchdown pass, and then on the very next possession, Bird to Franco Hernandez for a 30-yard touchdown pass. That would make it 21-19 Americas. And then on the ensuing drive, Americas would drive. They would take nearly 8 minutes off the clock. They would go 16 plays, but they would be stalled. They would try a 28-yard field goal from the far hash, kicking to the south end zone. Far hash of the press box, and it would be blocked. Noah Alvarez would pick it up. He would go to the house about 69 yards, and then on the next possession, Mark Moore on a 4th down and 11 would throw an interception to Bo Sparks. Big game for Bo Sparks. And if you're Americans, you got to just feel like this is the game that got away. They outgained Franklin 409 to 263. Mark Moore, really kind of a coming out party in terms of confidence and efficiency. 33 carries, 150 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Was also 11 of 16 passing for 150 yards. 259 rushing yards for Americas, 109 of those rushing yards coming from Sedante Gomez-Scott, a good-looking sophomore who also had a rushing touchdown. But Cameron Bird, 23 of 32, 236 yards, 3 touchdowns. At the moment, he'd be leading District 1-6A with 27 touchdowns. But, of course, Andrew Martinez and Eastwood getting ready to face Coronado here shortly. Bo Sparks, 8 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. And like I mentioned, only 263 total yards for Franklin. 27 total rushing yards for the Cougars. They ran 16 times, 27 yards. That's 1.6 per carry average on the evening. So like Paul mentioned, Franklin clinches a share of the district title. They're first since 2018, 12th in school history, and they will face Pebble Hills next week with a chance for an outright district title. Final from the 4 o'clock game at the SAC, it was Franklin defeating Americas 25-21.
And Alex said coming out party for Mark Moore. I'm not sure that's accurate. I think it's been a coming out month for Mark Moore. Once Caesar Drennan went down, they haven't had that other weapon in the backfield. And really everything has just fallen onto Moore. Of course, he's a quarterback who looks to find people. Anthony Rivera, sophomore receiver, pretty nice. But normally, at this level, you want your best receiver to be more than just a sophomore. So it has been on Moore's shoulder. He's been good. The team hasn't been good enough. Again, he was terrific tonight, but just a little short. The thing I'm interested in, what does this do for the Trailblazers? Do they get fired up that they got on the field with the best team in 6A and should have beaten them? And do they carry that to Eastwood next week? Or do they take the disappointment of, man, we should have won this thing and we somehow found a way to give it away?
Yeah, that's a tough loss for Americas right there after battling so hard in this game and then ultimately falling in this one. Let's run down week number 10. It's a very interesting week. Bye weeks for Bowie, Fabens, Cathedral, Centennial, and Anthony this week, but everybody else in action. Our Cisco Movers game of the week, it's Joe Rodriguez out at Clint and Riverside. He told us that the Lions were driving in this one. Be interested to see if we get a scoring update from Joe Rod here soon enough. Austin at Jefferson. This will be is a huge game. Jeremy Karanko, our reporter, out at this one. A huge game between both teams in this one, Paul.
Yeah, both these guys tied for first in case you just got into high school football this season. 4-way tie atop District 2-5A, which was the old 1-5A. That means if you've been gone a really long time. Andrus, Burgess, Austin, and the Jefferson Silver Foxes. Before we get too excited about Jeff, though, they really haven't beaten anybody yet. Who are their 3 wins? El Paso, Bowie, and Irvin. I think it's going to be enough to get them into the playoffs. Tonight we find out, are they really as good as they seem to look? Austin, a tough-minded team, maybe the toughest-minded team in this city. They don't beat themselves. You have to beat them. This is an enormous opportunity for Jeff. The good news, they're playing at Silver Fox Stadium.
Austin is 5-3 on the year, 3-1 in district play, just like you noted. Jefferson on the year, 6-2, 3-1 in district play. Up next is Bel Air taking on Del Valle. Bel Air on the year, 2-6, struggling going into this one. Del Valle, 7-2 on the year. They just dropped that game to Centro Central, so that's an interesting one to kind of keep in mind. J.D. Sursley out at that game. Brandon the Iceman Cone will be out at Coronado as the Thunderbirds, who are 1-7 on the year, 1-4 in district play. They play host to Eastwood, who's 4-4 on the year, 2-3 in district play.
And really, this is only an important game to Coronado, a team that's been overmatched. We've been talking about them all season, very young everywhere. Skill positions, young. The only veterans, I would say, in the offensive line, and that's not counting coach's kid Bob Anderson Jr., who's just a sophomore. But if they somehow find a way to beat these Eastwood Troopers, they pull even with those guys at 2-4. Eastwood would fall to 2-4. Coronado would be 2-4. America's now sitting at 3-3. So Eastwood knocks off America's in a week. Coronado finds a way to finish up with a victory. We'd have a little 3-4 action, 3-way tie. So a big game for Coronado as they're just holding on by their fingernails to playoff hopes.
Speaking of holding on to their fingernails for playoff hopes, how about the Parkland Matadors, who are 1-7 on the year, 0-2 in district play, trying to get their first district win at Isleta, who's 4-5 on the year, 1-2 in district play. Jaime Chavez out at that game.
Yeah, the good news about that one, they're in 1-5A Division II, which only has 5 teams, which means 4 are going playoff hunting and 1 is going home. And one of those 5 in your district are the Hanks Knights. What I just said about the Coronado Thunderbirds, just repeated. Young, and overmatched, I think, by the rest of the district.
Knights go against Horizon tonight. They're 1-7 on the year, 0-2 in district play. Horizon on the other side, 4-4, 2-0 in district play. Been surprising going into that Canutillo game next week. That should be interesting, Paul.
Absolutely right. They've been hot, and once they, assuming they get through the Knights tonight, looking forward to a terrific Week 11 matchup. Canutillo going to Horizon. Horizon's been hot, but Canutillo from Jump Street has been one of the top 2 or 3 teams, maybe the top team in the city of El Paso. So that should be a fun one.
Ray Adauto is out at Andress El Paso. Andress on the year 6-2 overall, 3-1 in district play, while El Paso is 3-5, 2-2 in district play.
Big game for El Paso. We told you a 4-way tie for first in that district. The team right behind it, 2-2. That's the El Paso High Tigers. They got to win tonight. If they don't, bye-bye to any playoff chances for El Paso.
Another game that we'll be at tonight, it's Alex Nicolas out at the SAC game 2 of that doubleheader. Montwood, who's 2-6 on the year, 1-4 in district play. They'll take on Pebble Hills, who's 5-3 on the season, 4-1 in district play. Huge game for the Spartans.
And yeah, Pebble Hills needs a win just so they can continue to be a game back of undefeated Franklin. That's who they finish with. Next week, again, one of the 4 really good games we're looking forward to. A week from now, if they're a game back, that means if they beat the Franklin Cougars, they get to be co-champs and the 1 seed coming out of that district. That's big. That'd be big stuff to that young team. Remember all the sophomores. Gael Ochoa, starting quarterback, sophomore. Coach's kid, sophomore. Sophomores all over the place. Marcos Torres.
Burgess at Irvin. That's another one that we'll be monitoring tonight, getting updates via text. Burgess, who's 5-3 on the year, 3-1 in district play. Irvin, 2-7, struggling, 0-5 in district play.
Yeah, remember they were tri-champs a year ago, and I think the Mustangs have blood in their eyes over COVID 2020. Remember, Irvin and Andress tied at 3-0. Burgess just 2-0, and desperately trying to find a game so they could get to 3-0. One of the teams they were trying to hit on, I believe, was the Irvin Rockets. They couldn't get that done. Ultimately, Burgess still at just 2-0 got to be tri-champs. Sounds like some kind of a bargain was struck in the El Paso ISD offices. So, but I think Burgess wants to put a hurting on Irvin tonight.
So 2 other games set for tonight: Mountain View at San Eli, Tornillo at Crane. That one's already underway. We'll get you scoring updates across the city of El Paso and keep you posted with more scores as we continue. Football Friday Night continues right here. Want to give 3 scoring updates for you, Paul. Clint scores on their opening drive as they lead Riverside 7-0. 7:42 left in the opening quarter, writes our Joe Rodriguez for this one. An interesting start for the Clint Lions as they strike first in this game. Another scoring update I've got for you: Parkland on top of Isleta, 7-0. It was a 40-yard touchdown pass by quarterback Eric Ortiz to wide receiver Demarion Crest Daniels. A huge drive for Parkland, getting on the board first, 7-0 with 10 minutes to go here in the first. Andress on top of El Paso, 7-0 as well. That's in the first quarter. I think it was a Malcolm Anderson touchdown.
37 yards out. It's not like he hasn't had, 10 or 11 over the last couple of weeks. And pick 6 in the last 2 weeks. So something to look forward to tonight.
We will ping around to the great city of El Paso, get some scoring updates from Joe Rod. We'll get some updates from Jeremy Karanko and from Brandon the Iceman Cone coming up in just a little bit. Stay with us as Football Friday Night continues right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, welcome back to Football Friday Night. Adrian Broadus, along with Paul McKinnon, Angel Munoz. Paul McKinnon requesting Halloween music today.
Love the Monster Mash, man. This was big when I was a kid.
Oh man, let's run down some score and updates for everybody right now. In our Cisco Movers game of the week, it's Clint 7, Riverside 7, tied game out there. We'll get to Joe Rod in just a little bit. Austin on top of Jefferson 7-0. We'll get to Jeremy Caranco also in just a few. Parkland on top of Isleta 7-0. Coach Jaime Chavez will join us shortly. And Andress all over El Paso early on, 14-0 in this game.
And Adrian, a Jeremiah Cooper sighting, a 37-yard return, I think, of an interception. Remember, he's been down a couple of weeks, went down in the first half of that Burgess game. They lost that one 35-34. Boy, they sure could have used maybe the best player in the city in that one.
Just got one other scoring update. It looks like Del Valle's on top of Bel Air, 7-0 in the first quarter. Those are some of the scores that we've got right now. We'll ping around to some of our reporters, get some other updates. Let's first start with our Cisco Movers game of the week. It's Clint Riverside. Joe Rodriguez is out there for this one. Joe Rod, go ahead.
2 minutes left in the opening quarter, and it is Riverside and Clint tied 7-7. Like you guys mentioned a few moments ago, Clint took their opening drive 75 yards over the course of 5 plays to score on their opening touchdown. Manuel Ulguin scored on a 24-yard touchdown run for the Clint Lions. The extra point was good on the ensuing possession. 5 yards with a 1-yard touchdown run by Jose Guardado to even things up at the 5:01 mark in the first quarter, making the score 7-7. On the second possession of the game, the Clint Lions went 3-and-out, and right now the Riverside Rangers are into Clint Lions territory on their second possession. We got a 2nd and 5 coming up from the Clint 33-yard line. So with 1 minute and 30 seconds, we expected this one to be a fast-moving game, and that it's certainly living up to that. It is Clint and Riverside tied 7-7.
All right, Joe Rod, great game out there. 7-7 score between Clint and Riverside in our Cisco Movers game of the week. Let's jump out to Austin Jefferson. Great game going on also right now. It's Jeremy Caranco calling the action right now. Jeremy, go ahead.
Yeah, 3:28 at Silver Fox Stadium is now Austin. They just scored again. It's 14-0 Austin over Jefferson. It was Sean Rodriguez on the last play for a 10-yard touchdown run. And before that, Luis Fernandez, a big play for the Panthers, a 10-yard TD pass to Israel Luna on a 3rd down and goal from the 10-yard line. Jefferson did stop Austin on the opening drive. However, they couldn't do much on their first drive. Austin then on the next play goes 5 plays and 72 yards, and that's where they're finding their strength right now is Sean Rodriguez. Guys, Jaden Wilson, his line is suited up. However, he is not playing right now. But then Sean Rodriguez, the junior fullback, who's doing pretty well. The big guy finding lanes, finding gaps, and looks like Austin might stick with him for right now. We know Jaden Wilson was a game-time decision. He is suited up. We'll probably see him later on, but already a big start for Austin. And on that second score, it was a fumble from Nathan Alcala that set up that play. So Jefferson's got to play perfect and limit these turnovers to stay in this game tonight. A big one, biggest one in Jefferson history in recent years. Their best finish was 1989, second in district. They've never won a district title, so they got to come back already. 3:16 first quarter. It is 14-0 Austin over Jeff.
Wow, that's a great game right there. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for that report. Paul, 14-0.
And we're reporting Jaden Wilson, our Brandon Cohn, of course, reporting that hip issues for Wilson. He was, as Jeremy said, a game-time decision. He's dressed, but it sounds like they're trying to go with Adam Rodriguez, a nice option. A guy from the defensive side of the ball, but a big guy who's going to just smash into the line, which is what Austin likes to do. And, of course, Izzy Luna, not a bad option either. I think it was week 2. Austin goes up against El Dorado. Wilson got hurt in that one as well, about midway through the third quarter. Luna, they plugged him in, a touchdown run with about 6 seconds left in the contest to come away with a big victory there. So they're without their best player, but that doesn't mean Austin is unarmed. Oh, by the way, the first touchdown was a pass from Rodriguez, something the Panthers never do, except when it's a big game and they need to break out a trick.
Last week it was penalties that hurt Jefferson. This week an early turnover that puts them back. It's 14-0.
And, that's where games are won and lost. This is a big game. It's a big for these Silver Foxes. We talked about it before. They never won a district title before. So it's got to mean, it means something to Austin, but it means even more to these Jefferson Silver Foxes. They got to be wound pretty tightly. I did see them against Burgess, had an awful first quarter, actually an awful first 20 minutes, but they rebounded in that one, wound up coming up on the wrong side of the victory, but they still fought back and were a much better team later in the contest. That may be the case again tonight.
Another great game going on right now. It's Parkland taking on Isleta. Last time we checked on this one, Parkland was on top of Isleta 7-0. Let's go out to the coach, Jaime Chavez, who's now joining us and giving us another report. Go ahead, Jaime Chavez.
2:21 left in the first quarter at Isleta's Hutchins Stadium. It is now Parkland 13 and Isleta 0 with the extra point pending. Eric Ortiz just fired a 28-yard touchdown pass to D.C. Daniels. We're waiting for the extra point as Alexis Mata lines up his special teams unit for that extra point. And here the ball is down, the snap, the kick. It is right through the uprights. It is now with make that 2:21 left in the first quarter. It is now Parkland 14 and Isleta 0. Eric Ortiz earlier fired a 39-yard touchdown pass to D.C. Daniels. That extra point was good. And Parkland is moving the ball well against Isleta with Isaiah Beasley leading the way for Parkland. He's over 900 yards rushing on the season. 6 carries, 37 yards rushing for Beasley tonight. In Isleta, they have to win to stay in the playoff hunt tonight. It also depends on what happens next week. So we've got 2:21 left in the first quarter at Isleta's Hutchins Stadium. It's all Parkland. Parkland 14 and Isleta 0.
Thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate the update right there. Wow, some hot action with Parkland already on top of Isleta 14-0. Indians trying to avoid 3 losses in a row, Paul.
Yeah, but it goes back to what we talked about prior. They're in a district with only 5 teams. 4 of them go to the playoffs, and the 5th team is the extremely young Hanks Knights. Not worried for Isleta. They'd like to get a win tonight. But on the other side, Parkland, Eric Ortiz, remember the sophomore quarterback, the 5th option. Parkland went through quarterbacks, like people go through their socks. Earlier in the season, they finally settled on Ortiz. He's been the guy ever since the El Dorado game on that exciting Thursday night. Parkland lost that game on a kick return. As time practically ran out. So Ortiz has the job. He's keeping the job, and he's off to a good start tonight. Couple of touchdown passes in a key contest for them as they don't want to be the 4th seed coming out of this district.
Going through quarterbacks like going through socks. That's a great one right there. And Atlanta, by the way, on top of Houston, 1-0 right now. Braves got bases loaded. That's a shout-out to our guy Alex Nicolas, who's a huge Astros fan.
Through gritted teeth, absolutely.
Oh, man, let's go out. We got another game going on right now. Bel Air on top of Del Valle. Actually, excuse me. Del Valle on top of Bel Air. Last time we checked, 7-0. Let's go out to J.D. Sursley and see if things have changed since then. Go ahead, J.D.
A minute and 35 left in the first quarter. Del Valle up 7-0 over Bel Air. Yeah, Metallic. Very first drive for Del Valle with a terrible punt by Bel Air. Just run, pass, and then Juan Archuleta with a 3-yard run, touchdown. Bel Air was driving on the last drive and actually fumbled at the 20. And Del Valle is driving now. A minute and 27 left in the first quarter. Del Valle 7, Bel Air 0.
All right, thank you so much, JD. Wow, right there. Del Valle on top of Bel Air. Just seems like nothing's going well for the Highlanders.
I would say no surprise. I'm not sure there's another team in the city that's given up more points in the first half and scored fewer in the first half. Bel Air usually wakes up around the third quarter when games are already out of hand.
Another game to get out to right now. It's Eastwood and Coronado. Brandon the Iceman Cone out at this game. Brandon, take it away.
4:17 left here opening quarter, and it is already Eastwood 13-0 over Coronado. Eastwood's first possession at the 8:57 mark of the game. Quarterback Martinez, after marching down the field with ease, ends in an 18-yard touchdown pass to his wideout Curtis Morillo. They go for 2 just to be silly, and they don't convert, making the score 6-0. Troopers over Coronado. Coronado so far can't stop Eastwood's running back Sam Lopez. The kid's got 10 carries for 65 yards already here in the first quarter. Then at the 4:17 mark of the first quarter, Eastwood's second possession, Martinez throws a 13-yard TD to his wideout, Michael Caldera. The PAT was good, making the score Eastwood 13-0. 4:05 left opening quarter at Quarlesbrook Stadium. All Eastwood so far. 13-0 over Coronado.
Great stuff, Brandon. Appreciate it as always. Thank you for giving us that update. Eastwood on top of Coronado, 13-0. We got another big game going on right now. Let's go out to the phone lines right now and join Ray Adauto. It's Andress and El Paso. Last time we checked on this one, Andress was on top of El Paso, 14-0. Let's see if anything has changed since then. It is Ray Adauto who's joining us next. Ray, take it away.
Hey, with 11 minutes, 9 seconds left in the second quarter, the score has just moved up. It is now 17-0 Andress over the El Paso High Tigers. So from historic R.R. Jones Stadium on the campus of El Paso High, Andress comes into the senior night game for El Paso at 6-2 overall, 3-1 in district, while the home team Tigers are 3-5 overall and 2-2 in district. Both teams would like a victory tonight, but clearly Andress has the edge. We've had the scoring this way. At 6 minutes, 7 seconds left in the first quarter was Malcolm Anderson with a 27-yard pass TD. PAT was good. Andress led 7-0. At 5:21 left in the first quarter, Andress intercepted a Tiger pass, Jeremiah Cooper, on a 38 run-back TD, making the score 14-0. And at 1:21 left in the first quarter, it was Andress again with a 36-yard field goal done by Sean Owens. And as you're just hearing on the PA, at 10:59 on the left in the second period, we just got another score by Andress for 6 yards. Number 6, the quarterback has just been phenomenal. Elias Duncan for Andress. And it is a 42-yard scamper for Elias. Great job once again. So as the point after is coming up, and I'll give you that as soon as the kick is up and good. Nope. Looks like it is no bueno, which is no good. 10:59 left at R.R. Jones Stadium, and the Andress Eagles 24, El Paso High 0.
And Adrian, it looks like Andress just too much for El Paso. As El Paso sees their playoff chances leaking away, they're sitting at 2-2 behind all those 3-1s. Their hope was to get a win tonight, or for Burgess to take a loss against Irvin. That hadn't worked out yet either. And the reason El Paso finishes up with Burgess a week from now, back in the day, El Paso used to really get under the skin of the Mustangs. I can remember Alvin Jones with a punt return of about 60 yards with about 6 seconds left in the game as the Jones boys squeaked by versus El Paso High. That's how tough it used to be, the Tigers versus the Mustangs. El Paso's taken a turn for the worse over the last 4 or 5 years, and Burgess has profited from that. But, they really needed to stick around. If they lose tonight and Burgess gets a win and moves to 4-1, El Paso High is done for the season. It's been a nice run. 3 out of the last 5 games they've won, and that kind of came out of nowhere. But playoffs, if they can't come back against Andress, they're going to be out of the picture.
Looks like we lost Joey Panisi, who's out at Horizon Hanks. We'll get to him in just a little bit, but first let's go to Alex Nicolas. He's got a game preview of Montwood and Pebble Hills. Alex, take it away.
The playoff race for District 1-6A continues in the nightcap as we have Pebble Hills and Montwood. Pebble Hills comes in 5-3 overall in the season, 4-1 in District 1-6A play. A win today will lock up Pebble Hills' 5th playoff appearance in school history for head coach Mark Torres in his 6th season. For this Pebble Hills team, we've seen a growth, a very young team, but a team that's really finding themselves late in the season, averaging 393 yards per game, led by Gael Ochoa. Ochoa currently right now is the 3rd leading rusher in District 1-6A, tied for 2nd in rushing TDs with 15. He's also completed 90 of 150 passes for 1,234 yards, 10 touchdowns to his credit. His top target is Jaleel Boss, a junior, has 23 catches, 449 yards, 5 touchdowns, and also has a touchdown on the ground. Marcus Torres, another developing weapon for Gael Ochoa, another sophomore, as you're going to hear the theme of tonight here for both teams. Torres, 26 catches, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 carries on 98 yards. He's sort of a jet sweep specialist, if you will. Also returned a kick last week or a few weeks ago for a touchdown. These Deal brothers, these Robert Deal, seems like these Deal kids are hot FBS prospects, even if it's in Garland or in El Paso. Robert Deal, he's their leading tackler for Pebble Hills. 2 interceptions for the Spartans again, who can clinch a playoff spot. And like Paul mentioned, seeding is very important late in the season and not having a drop-off game. I think that's a message from Coach Torres this evening. For the Montwood Rams, the talk is not about who's on the field for Montwood, but who's not in uniform, and that's Yamil Oaxaca, who I'm looking at the 50-yard line, standing right next to Coach Ariel Famaligi, has his jersey over a hoodie. He will not play tonight. Also on crutches, Isaiah Claudio, their emerging sophomore running back, got 5 rushing touchdowns. He is out today. So a number of unknowns for Montwood. We do know Kevin Melendez will be under center. Melendez completes 58% of his passes, 15 touchdown passes to 5 interceptions, 484 yards for the Montwood Rams, who are mathematically eliminated from the playoff race. 3 straight losses, so a new cast of characters as Coach Ariel Famaligi trying to build towards next year. The talk here in the press box is we've seen a high number of sophomores getting some playing time for Montwood. So a developmental game for Montwood trying to play spoiler. Meanwhile, for Pebble Hills, they're trying to continue their upward development as we head towards the playoffs. So still about 30 minutes away from opening kick as both teams going through their team drills here. It'll be Pebble Hills and Montwood, playoff lines and even district title implications for Pebble Hills, as Pebble Hills will face Franklin next week. So staying in that one-loss category will do Pebble Hills some positivity tonight. 30 minutes away from kickoff between Montwood and Pebble Hills here at the SAC.
30 minutes away for kickoff. Wow. We'll join Alex here in a little bit, but thank you so much, Alex, for that update right there and great pregame coverage as always. Let's continue. Let's keep rolling right now. It looks like we've got Joey Panisi back on the phone lines right now. It's Hanks and Horizon, our first update from this game. Joey, take it away.
Yes, gentlemen, I can't tell you how much time is on the clock because it's not working, but I can tell you that the score is Horizon 14, Hank 0. Horizon's first 2 possessions, as you can imagine, it was all Jacob Quijas. For some reason, Ernie Garcia was sitting down, but Quijas had 4 consecutive carries, 4-yarder, 35-yarder, and he scored on a 21-yard quarterback draw. He's up to 69 yards already this game on his way to rushing for 2,000. So Ernie Garcia just scored from 21 yards out. I can't tell you how much time is left, but the point after touchdown was good. So the score right now, with I don't know how much time is left on the clock, is 4. I know it's the first quarter, and Hanks just completes his first pass. I just found out about how come Hanks is having such a difficult season. Early in the year when the district called off the mask mandate, several parents took their kids off the team, one including their starting quarterback. So they're left with one sophomore quarterback that had no prior experience, and they're basically depending every game on Javier Johnson. This kid is a bull. He has 155 of 195 runs, and he's carrying the ball for about 20 yards up the right sideline now. So Hanks is at the 50, probably about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. The score is Horizon 14, Hanks 0.
Thank you so much, Joey. Appreciate the update. Horizon on top of Hanks 14-0. No surprise there. We got some hot action going on with our Cisco Movers game of the week. It's Clint and Riverside. Last time we checked, tie game for this one, but let's join Joe Rodriguez for another update of this game. Joe, take it away.
7:15 left in the opening, or in the first half, and it is all Riverside leading the Clint Lions by a score of 21-7. So the Riverside Rangers took a 14-7 lead on a 10-yard touchdown run by Jose Guardado. That was on a 7-play, 73-yard drive by the Riverside Rangers. That is, or was, Jose Guardado's second rushing touchdown of the night. From there, the Clint Lions turned the ball over on downs, going for it on 4th and 13 and failing to convert. From there, the Riverside Rangers took the ball at their own 42-yard line. All it took was 4 plays for them to travel 58 yards and a touchdown play that was a 36-yard touchdown pass from Angel Munoz to Frank Luna. That is Munoz's 18th touchdown pass of the season, while it was Luna's 6th touchdown reception on his year. The extra point was good, which brings us to where we're at right now. The Clinton Lions have taken over at their own 33-yard line with 7:14 to go. It is all Riverside leading the Clinton Lions by the score of 21-7.
Great job, Joe. Thank you so much for the update. Riverside with a 2-touchdown lead over the Clinton Lions right there. Let's run down some other scores, and let's do a recap of all our scoring updates right now as we continue here on Football Friday night. Again, Riverside on top of Clint 21-7 in our Cisco Movers game of the week. Austin on top of Jefferson 14-0. And as our Jeremy Karanko says to us, it looks like there is a blocked punt by the Austin Panthers. They now have it 1st and goal deep in Jefferson territory. So we'll keep an eye on this one to see if Austin can extend their lead. Eastwood on top of Coronado 20-0. An update right there again for Brandon the Iceman Cone.
Yeah, Michael called that a 9-yard touchdown reception. One of those 3 receivers they really like at Eastwood.
Another one to get to, Parkland on top of Isleta, 14-0 as well. We'll get an update from Coach Jaime Chavez here in a little bit. Del Valle leads Bel Air 7-0. Also, Andress all over El Paso, 23-0. And then we've got another score with Horizon on top of Hanks in the first quarter, 14-0. Burgess leading Irvin, 19-0 as well. Paul, you got any other scores for us? I think that's it.
I think you just about got it there, boss.
Okay, good. Well, let's take our time out right now. When we come back, we'll get more recaps, more live updates from our reporters all across the city of El Paso. Stay with us as Football Friday Night continues right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, the Halloween edition of Football Friday Night. I don't know what's going on here. I love it. It's definitely the Halloween edition over here, as requested by our very own Paul McKinnon. I love it, Paul. That's the spirit. You're in the Halloween spirit. What are you going to be for Halloween?
Yeah, just the same old burnout I always am. So.
Oh man, we got a lot of great games going on across the city of El Paso. Let's do another rundown of scoring updates across the board right now. In our Cisco Movers game of the week, Riverside on top of Clint, 21-7. Austin leads Jefferson 14-0. We'll get an update from Jeremy Karanko here just in a little bit. Eastwood on top of Coronado, 13-0. Parkland leads Isleta. Now we're getting 21-0. Is that what I'm hearing right there, Paul? A new scoring update.
Yeah, that's correct from our Jaime Chavez, 21-zip.
All right, we'll get to Jaime in just a little bit as well. Del Valle still leads Bel Air 7-0, and that's J.D. Zersley. We'll get to him in a little while as well. Andress all over El Paso, 23-zip. Horizon leads Hanks 14-0, and Burgess with a 19-0 lead over Irvin.
26-6 now, Burgess over Irvin.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Let's jump out to a big one for tonight. It's Austin and Jefferson. Last time we checked in on this one, Austin led Jeff 14-0. We're joined by Jeremy Karanko for another update. Jeremy, take it away.
Second down. 5:52 and counting in the second quarter. It is now Austin 21-0 over Jefferson. Points off turnovers, the key mark in any game, and now it's 14 for Austin. A blocked punt, if you can call it a turnover. It was inside the 30. It set up a play for Sean Rodriguez at the 1 where he scored on a 4th down and goal. Jefferson has had some good plays defensively, but they cannot finish. That has been the story of this game so far. So Sean Rodriguez, a big night already for him, filling in for Jaden Wilson, 86 yards on 13 carries and 2 touchdowns. Guys, get this, 116 in total yards to Jefferson's -4 yards so far, and we're almost at halftime. It's 21-0, Austin over Jeff, 5:26, second quarter.
Great job, Jeremy. Thank you so much for that update. And Paul, we sent Jeremy to this game thinking, hey, he'd get the great game of the week. You know, he'd get a good one between Austin and Jeff. No, it's Jeremy Karanko's streak of the opponent not scoring. What is it about Jeremy at these games?
He's a jinx. I think this is like 3 weeks in a row. One of his teams doesn't score any points. Like I said, at least the last 3 weeks. And it has everything to do with Jeremy. He ruins perfectly good games.
I guess so. Eastwood and Coronado is another big one that we're covering tonight. Brandon the Iceman Cone out at this game. He'll be giving us the next update as we continue. Brandon, take it away.
7:30 left here, opening half. Eastwood 20-0 over Coronado. At the 11:18 mark here of the first half, Eastwood quarterback Martinez throws his third touchdown of this opening half, this time a 9-yard strike to his wideout Michael Caldera. That's Caldera's second touchdown reception of the game. Point after attempt was good, making the scores Troopers 20-0 over Coronado. 7:08 now left here in the opening half, and Eastwood about to strike again. It's a 3rd and 1 at the 1-yard line. And here we go. It is a handoff to the running back who looks like he's just maybe short. Let's see, no call yet. I think he's going to be short. It's going to bring up a 4th down. And Samuel Lopez, their running back, just running all over Coronado tonight. Lopez already is just absolutely having a heck of a night. 17 carries, 107 yards in this opening half. 6:40 opening half, and it's all Eastwood 20-0 over Coronado, about to go up even more.
Great job, Brandon. Thank you so much. Wow, Eastwood on top of Coronado, 20-0. No surprise there, but it looks like they're knocking on the door and might extend that lead a little bit further. Let's jump out to the coach, Jaime Chavez. It's Parkland and Ysleta. Great game with playoff implications on the line. Jaime, take it away.
7:14 left in the half. At Ysleta's Hutchins Stadium, it is all Parkland. Parkland 21, Ysleta 0. Parkland quarterback Eric Ortiz. 3 touchdown passes. 2 of those of 39 and 28 yards to D.C. Daniels, and also an 18-yard touchdown pass to Isaiah Beasley. Ortiz, big numbers tonight thus far. 6 of 8, 119 yards passing, and the 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Isaiah Beasley, 11 carries, 61 yards rushing, and looks like he's headed for 1,000 yards rushing this season. The Parkland defense getting a lot of pressure on his other quarterback, Damian Contreras. He's 3 of 6, 52 yards passing, and he lost a fumble on Ysleta's first drive, which led to Parkland's first score. So at Ysleta's Hutchins Stadium, we've got 7:05 left in the half. It's all Parkland. Parkland 21. Ysleta 0.
Wow, Parkland making a statement right here, trying to get their first win in district play. Great job, Coach. Really appreciate that. And Paul, right there, you're just seeing a willingness from the Parkland Matadors, trying to get some things going for them and get a win in the column.
You know, they have players, especially on the offensive side of the ball, guys you like. It's just been, for whatever reason, not on the same page. I think they lost a lot of confidence with their tough non-district schedule. They usually schedule a few more cupcakes, and, they pile up the wins. Didn't do that this year, and I think it just kind of steamrolled. But, they have this will be good for them if they can get past Ysleta, a little bit of a confidence boost to finish off the season.
We've got another game going on right now. Del Valle taking on Bel Air. Last time we checked on this one, the Conquistadores were up 7-0. Let's go out to JD Sursley and get another report on this game. JD, take it away.
2 minutes left in the second quarter. Del Valle 7, Bel Air 0. It is a close game. Bel Air showing that eye of the tiger, keeping it close. A few penalties and, just fumbles on both sides. So obviously, Del Valle should be dominating this game, but Bel Air is putting in the fight. Del Valle must have marked that calendar for Chapin next week because they're definitely looking like they're looking for next week. And, Chapin already marked them, but Bel Air is definitely keeping and hanging tough. 7, Del Valle, Bel Air 0. 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
All right, appreciate it, JD. Thanks so much.
And I think whatever Franklin had, looks like Del Valle's caught it, and I think Jeremy got exactly right. Looking forward to next week. Del Valle Chapin a week from now. That could be a big game. Battle of undefeateds in that district. Franklin has a shot at Pebble Hills to take sole possession and the lone district title out of 1-6A, and maybe didn't show up against Americas. Got lucky in the 4 o'clock game out at the SAC to come away with a victory. I mean, they came through in the clutch, but a lot of breaks went their way in that first half just to be in touch.
This one looks like it might be getting underway, out of hand. It's Andress taking on El Paso. Last time we checked on this one, Andress with a 23-0 lead. Let's see if they've extended it. Let's go out to Ray Adauto for another report on this one. Ray, take it away.
4 minutes, 32 seconds left in this first half, and El Paso can't wait to get to halftime because the score is now Andress 30. The El Paso High Tigers 0. That last touchdown was made by number 55, Daniel Sanchez. He is 6'1", 279 listed. He's probably more like 325. He plays defense, but today they gave him the ball. He ran it in from 2 yards out. PAT was good with 4 minutes, 19 seconds and counting left. The score at R.R. Jones Stadium is Andress 30, El Paso High Tigers 0.
Thank you so much, Ray. Appreciate the update on that one. Wow, Andress just keeping it going with a 30-0 lead over El Paso in this game. Let's keep things moving right now. Jump out to another one, Hanks and Horizon. Joey Panisi joins us next as we continue here on Football Friday Night. Joey, take it away.
Yes, from Hanks Excalibur Stadium, just underway in the second quarter. It's now the Horizon Scorpions 21, the Hanks Knights 7. Let me just give a little praise to Hanks. They had a real good possession. It was capped off by Javier Johnson's 3-yard plunge, but he set it up with 2 consecutive 10-yard runs. Then sophomore Marcus Torres, quarterback from Hanks, connected on a strike. It was a perfect strike to Devontae Lyle, and that's a good-looking football player. Devontae Lyle's about 6'3", 200 pounds. They need to use him more. Well, that got the ball down to the 3, and as I said, Javier Johnson from 3 yards out finally got pay dirt. Back to Awesome Horizon and Jacob Quijas. Once again, he called the number, completed a 20-yard pass to, his favorite receiver, Dominic Chaparro, 25-yard BB right in the end zone. And then I know we like to give the extra point kickers a little craze. So Angel Simmental from last week, he was 6 for 6, point after touchdown kicker. Tonight he's 3 for 3, so that's 9 for 9 for Mr. Special Teams. So sending it back, like I said, we're into the second quarter. I can't give you the time. Horizon is up 21-7 over Hanks.
Thank you so much, Joey. Appreciate the update as always. Horizon leading Hanks 21-7. Let's go back out to our Cisco Movers game of the week. It's Clint and Riverside. Last time we checked in on this one, it was Riverside on top of Clint 21-7. Let's see if things have changed and jump out to Joe Rodriguez in our Cisco Movers game of the week. Joe, take it away.
2 minutes left in the first half, and it is Riverside leading Clint by the score of 21-7. The Clint Lions are having difficulty getting anything going offensively after that opening possession where their running attack was as efficient as it could be. The adjustments that the Riverside Rangers has proven to pay off dividends for them as they have stopped the Clint Lions, forcing them to a couple of 3-and-outs and 1 turnover on downs. Meanwhile, right now, Riverside is in the middle of a very, very efficient drive, a drive that started at their own 12-yard line, and currently play number 11 of the drive is coming up, and there is a measurement probably going to be a first down at the Clint Lions 30-yard line. Yep, it sure is. 1st and 10 coming up for the Riverside Rangers, and with 2 minutes left to go in this first half, the Riverside Rangers are looking to extend their lead to a 3-touchdown lead with 2:12 to go in the second quarter. It is Riverside leading Clint by the score of 21-7.
And Adrian, this end from San Elizario, Mountain View up on top of San Eli, 14-0 that second quarter score. And again, what we talked about previously in the 1-5A district, 5 teams, 4 playoff spots, and this is, in effect, the elimination game. Mountain View 0-2 on the season. San Eli 0-2. The winner moves to 1-2 and likely grabs a playoff spot. Remember, Fabens already beat San Eli head up a week ago. They're 1-2. San Eli looking for a win. They finish with Clint, so if they don't get it tonight, they just might not get it.
Let's run down some scores right now in our full scoreboard update. All games are in full swing except for Montwood and Pebble Hills, which should get underway shortly, and we'll check in with Alex Nicolas here in a little bit. Riverside on top of Clint 21-7 in our Cisco Movers game of the week. Austin hanging on to a 21-0 lead against Jefferson. That's late in the second quarter of that game. Eastwood on top of Coronado 27-0. Another blowout game right there. Parkland leads Isleta 21-0. Also, Del Valle still leads Bel Air 7-0. That one approaching the end of the first half. Andress all over El Paso 30-0. And then Horizon with a 21-7 lead over Hanks. A couple other games to get to. Burgess leads Irvin 26-6. We got Santa Teresa up on Chaparral 14-0. Las Cruces leads Oregon Mountain 21-0. And we got Crane with a 48-0 lead over Tornillo. Like you said, Paul, Mountain View 14, San Eli nothing.
And Andress just goosed that lead a little bit more, 37-0. Mama, there goes that man again, Malcolm Anderson. 49-yard screen pass for the score, 3:23 left in the first half. Andress all over El Paso, 37-zip.
We would like to thank Cisco Movers for our game of the week. They can help you with packing, boxing, heavy lifting, and moving your belongings to your next destination. Cisco Movers also offers storage at their facility. Take it from a family-owned company like Cisco Movers. They will give you a great price and help you on your next move. Get started by filling out a request form at CiscoMovers.com. Cisco Movers, the best move you'll make in El Paso. We're going to take a time out right now. When we come back, more scores, more recaps as Football Friday Night continues right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, welcome back to Week 10 edition, Halloween edition of Football Friday Night. Adrian Broadus, along with Paul McKinnon, Angel Munoz, playing a little Shining theme music. Angel, I know you like The Shining. You're a fan of The Shining movie. I know that.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and honestly, like it was an experience. It was like it was an awakening for me because I saw it in a theater. I really wanted to go see it in a theater.
There you go. I appreciate that, Angel.
Yeah. When Scatman Crothers takes the axe, I think I cried.
I love it. Let's run down some scoring updates for you as we continue here Week 10 of Football Friday Night. Then we'll ping around to some of our reporters, but a lot of blowouts across the city of El Paso right now. Games kind of getting out of hand. Riverside in our Cisco Movers game of the week, Riverside all over Clint right now, 28-7. We'll get an update from Joe Rod in just a little bit. Also going on right now, Austin on top of Jefferson, 28-0 late in the second quarter of this game. Just another scoring update that we just got in right now. Another score to get to. Eastwood on top of Coronado, 27-0. Brandon the Iceman Cone will join us in a little bit. Parkland all over Isleta, 21-0. Del Valle leads Bel Air 7-0 late in the second quarter of that game. And it looks like you got an update from Andress El Paso, Paul. It looks like Andress on top of El Paso, 44-0.
Yeah, another Jeremiah Cooper interception return for a score, but of course that's only 2 in this contest. This one from 80 yards. He's making up for lost time.
Horizon leads Hanks 21-7. Joey Panisi out at that game right now. We got some other scores to get to. Burgess leads Irvin 26-6. Santa Teresa on top of Chaparral 14-0. Las Cruces leads Oregon Mountain 21-0. Crane with a 48-0 lead over Tornillo. Also Mountain View still leading San Eli 14-zip.
And out at Thunderbird Stadium, Coronado finally on the board, the sophomore quarterback, Blake Randag. 24-yard toss to Harrison Tomlin Morgan. First time we've heard that name this year. But the good news is Coronado avoids the shutout, unlike any game that Jeremy Caranco's watched over the last month.
What's up with Jeremy Caranco getting these blowout games? But let's first, before we go out to Jeremy Caranco and get an Austin Jefferson score, let's go out to our Cisco Movers game of the week. Some new action to get to from this one. Riverside leads Clint in this one. Let's go out to Joe Rod, who's got another update. Joe Rod, take it away.
22 seconds left in the first half, and it is Riverside leading the Clint Lions by the score of 28-7. An 11-play, 88-yard drive ended in a 30-yard touchdown rush by running back Jose Guardado, his third touchdown of the night. The extra point was good, and right now the Clint Lions are going for a field goal, a 40-yard field goal attempt coming up here with 22 seconds left to go. It's the Clint Lions have 4th and 2. And apparently the Riverside Rangers just called a timeout. They want to discuss things. Head coach Gary Recorder wants to talk things over. Like I said, it is a 4th and 2 coming up for the Clint Lions at the Riverside 22-yard line with 22 seconds left. It is important to note the Clint Lions do not have any more timeouts left in this first half. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you all in the studio with 22 seconds left to go in the second quarter. It is the Riverside Rangers leading the Clint Lions by the score of 28-7.
Yeah, in that game, they just desperately need that field goal.
Yeah, I think the word you use is the correct one, desperately. It seems like Clint a little out of character, a couple of gambles. Remember, 4th and 13, from around midfield, they went for that one as well. We're talking about a wishbone team trying to pick up 4th and 13. What are you going to do that with your passing game? How many times have you thrown the ball this year? 7?
Yeah.
And now a 40-yard field goal attempt. It's another low percentage play, but I guess they know what they have, and if he knocks it through, it's a risk worth taking, I guess.
Well, great job there, Joe. Appreciate the update. And Clint trying to attempt a field goal. We'll check back with him at the back end of this rotation. Let's go out to Jeremy Karanko. Last time we checked, Austin led Jefferson 21-zip. Jeremy joins us next. Jeremy, take it away.
Yeah, we have 19 seconds left to go until halftime, and we have a big play coming up. It is 4th and 5 for Jefferson at the Austin 5. The score is now 28-0. Austin is leading Jeff. It was Sebastian Morales who recovered a fumble. He recovered a blocked punt inside the 5 in the end zone for a touchdown. They made it 28-0 at the 3:12 mark, guys. Let's bring you this 4th down play. It is Nathan Alcala under center. He has the snap. He's looking to the end zone, and he's got a man, and it is dropped through his hands and incomplete. And it's another turnover on downs for Jefferson. They had a 1st and goal at the 1. A false start, and now 4 straight plays where they can't find the end zone, guys, and it looks like we'll head to halftime with Austin leading 28-0. I just want to mention the scoreless streak for me is now 15 quarters, so let's pray for something to happen for Jefferson in the second half, guys. 28-0, Austin over Jeff right now, 13 seconds until halftime.
Yeah, mostly a momentum player there at the end. You want to punch something in, feel good about yourself. But just like everything else in that first half out at Fox's Stadium, it went the other way, which, by the way, was the opposite of that 4 p.m. game where Franklin got it handed to him for about 20 minutes and then found a way to stick one in the end zone with seconds left, 14-7. They go to the break and come back with a huge rally at the end, including a blocked field goal return, 60 yards for a score as they nip Americas and stay undefeated in District 1-6A.
Panthers all over the Silver Foxes, 28-0 in a key district matchup for that one. Let's jump out to another key district matchup game. It's Parkland and Isleta. Coach Jaime Chavez joins us next. Coach, take it away.
And we've got another touchdown. We've got a 35-yard touchdown pass. Eric Ortiz fires a 38-yard touchdown pass. Let's check that. To Fernando Ruan, just as we started the quarter, and it is now, we've got 51 seconds left in the half. It is now Parkland 27 and Isleta 8 with the extra point pending, and that is the 4th touchdown pass by Eric Ortiz tonight of the Parkland Matadors as we await the extra point here. It's a high snap, and the kick is it's up, and it's good for Alexis Mata. And now the score with 51 seconds left in the half. It is now Parkland 28 and Isleta 8. And Isleta finally got on the board with quarterback Damien Contreras as he throws a 23-yard touchdown pass to Andres Martinez. And the 2-point conversion was good. Eric Ortiz, 4 TD passes tonight, and he's on fire. And one of those to Isaiah Beasley is the senior running back, who's got 12 carries and 76 yards rushing. So we've got 51 seconds left in the half. At Isleta's Hutchins Stadium, it is Parkland 28 and Isleta 8.
Wow, right there. Isleta gets a score on the board, Paul, but now Parkland responds right away. They're up 28-8.
Yeah, still going. Parkland has this thing in their hands. 51 seconds. Get to halftime. We're up 3 scores. If you're the Matadors, you're feeling pretty good about yourselves tonight.
No, most definitely. Another game that's going on right now, probably at halftime right now. Bel Air Del Valle. Last time we checked in, a low-scoring game in this one. Conquistadores were up 7-0. Let's go out to JD Sursley and get an update for this one. JD, take it away.
Yes, sir. We're at halftime right now. It is Del Valle 14, Bel Air 0. Right before halftime, under a minute, actually. Bel Air, their offensive play just got blown up from the start, and they fumbled. Dominic Calderon with a 20-yard fumble return touchdown, which made it 14-0. Juan Archuleta and Nicholas Chavira for Bel Air and Del Valle are basically the players of the game right now. Just 3, 4, 5 yards running each team. Everyone's moving down the field, but penalties and fumbles and it is Halloween weekend, right? I saw a black cat, I'm sure, but it's just a weird game out here in Del Valle. We're at halftime, Del Valle 14, Bel Air 0.
All right, JD, thank you so much for that one right there.
And more of it rains, it pours out at Clint Lyons Stadium. We heard the 40-yard field goal coming. Carlos Adiola, 39-yard field goal attempt. Off the right upright, bounces back, no good. That game remains 28-7. Riverside in charge, headed to halftime.
Okay. So we've got Riverside up 28-7. That's in our Cisco Movers game of the week. Want to give a big shout out to Longhorn Distributing, the only hot seat dealer in West Texas and Southern New Mexico, your source for cleaning equipment, service, and supplies. Longhorn Distributing out at 5516 East Paisano Drive in El Paso. Let's jump out to our next reporter right now. It is Joey Panisi. He is out at Horizon and Hanks. Joey, take it away.
Okay, from Hanks High School, the score is now Horizon 28, Hanks 7. As I said before, the clock is giving us fits, but I think there's 3 minutes left before half. Horizon is taking over from the 44-yard line. Horizon scored with approximately 6 minutes left in the quarter on a Ernie Garcia 5-yard dive, which gives Ernie 19 touchdowns for the year. That's remarkable by anybody's standards. It's been, as usual, the Jacob Quijas, Ernie Garcia show. And I just want to say something about this quarterback from Hanks. He's really not bad. For a sophomore that never took a snap before this season, like the running back, he doesn't get much blocking, and he takes a beating from those defensive linemen. Yet he's standing in the pocket, taking his licks, and he's got a good arm. He's going to be okay. By the way, he only weighs $150. He's 5'9", 150. So hopefully Hanks can come out of this game with something positive. So with approximately 2 minutes left to go before the half, from the 44-yard line, Horizon will take over with a lead of 28-7 over Hanks.
All right, Joey, appreciate that. Horizon with a 28-7 lead over Hanks here late in the second quarter. Let's continue right now with Football Friday Night with Ray Adauto. He's out at Andress and El Paso. Ray, take it away.
Well, from R.R. Jones Stadium, it is halftime, mercilessly for the El Paso High Tigers, as the Andress Eagles have come into senior night here, and currently 44-0. That is 44-0. Andress Eagles over at the El Paso High Tigers. The story of the game has been the heavy, really the great offense led by number 6, Elias Duncan for Andress. My partner at the press table, Bill Kuhn, tells me that we have 7 carries for 110 yards tonight in the first half. And, you got 2 interceptions that are big-time interceptions by our friend Jeremiah Cooper, and those total up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, pretty close to. He had the first one at 80 yards, and the second one was at 38, so 118 yards in intercepted return for 6. So the story here is ugly, and unfortunately for El Paso High, going to probably be the same during the second half. Some kids are getting hurt, unfortunately, because really the Andress Eagles are huge compared to the El Paso High line people. They got one lineman, the center for Andress, is clocked in at over 300 pounds, number 74. big man. That is Juan Guzman. And like I told you earlier, a 280-pound running back / defensive lineman made a touchdown for Andress as well. 25 minutes left in this halftime. Senior night here at El Paso High, and it is the Andress Eagles 44, El Paso High Tigers 0.
Thank you so much, Ray. Appreciate that. Andress all over El Paso, 44-zip. As we continue here on Football Friday Night, let's jump out to our Cisco Movers game of the week. It's Riverside on top of Clint. This one has to hit. This one has got to be at halftime right now, with Riverside previously leading 28-7. Let's go to Joe Rod, who's joining us next. Joe, take it away.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Here at halftime, a little bit more than 20 minutes to go until we kick off the second half, and it is all Riverside leading the Clint Lions by the score of 28-7. The Riverside Rangers were very, very sound statistically in the first 2 quarters of this game. They have 14 first downs. They rushed the ball 25 times for 257 yards. It has to be said, Angel Munoz, the quarterback, aside from getting things done with his legs, rushing the football quite efficiently, he's been extremely efficient through the air. 4-for-4, a perfect 4-for-4 for 86 yards and 1 touchdown pass. Total offense for the Riverside Rangers, 343 yards. They do have 4 penalties for 45 yards. But so far right now, it has been running back Jose Guardado's game. He does have 12 carries for 87 yards and 3 touchdowns. Over on the Clint Lions side of things, they only have 5 first downs. They ran the ball 17 times in the first half for 101 yards. Obviously, through the air, 1 for 2. There was a pass that was completed for 48 yards for a grand total of 149 yards. When you compare those 149 yards to the 343 that the Riverside Rangers have, that might paint a clear picture as to why the score is what it is. Like I said, we're a little less than 20 minutes from the start of the second half. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Gary Recorder makes his team execute to close this one out and pick up a district title. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you on the studio out here at Riverside, or at Riverfront Stadium on the campus of Riverside High School. It is the hosting Riverside Rangers all over the Clint Lions by the score of 28-7.
Great job, Joe. Thank you so much for that update. Appreciate that. Riverside at the half with a 28-7 lead over Clint in our Cisco Movers game of the week. Let's jump out to Brandon the Iceman Cone. Last time we checked on this one, it was heavily favored by Eastwood over Coronado. Let's see if that's still the case out at halftime right now. Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, halftime at Quarles Brook Stadium, and it's Eastwood 27-7 over Coronado. So how we got there, the 6:20 mark of the first half. Eastwood quarterback Martinez throws his 4th touchdown of the first half. This time to guess who? Yeah, that's right again. Wide receiver Michael Caldera, his 3rd touchdown reception of the first half, a 1-yard score, making it 27-0 Eastwood over Coronado. Then Coronado's running back Diego Redcana fumbles at the 3:17 mark of the second, recovered by Eastwood's quarterback Curtis Murillo. The Troopers, though, their next possession, Murillo returns the favor, and of course he's a wideout as well. He fumbles it right back to Coronado, recovered by the T-Birds' Cade Little at the Troopers' 45. Then at the 48-second mark to go in the second, Coronado capitalizes on Eastwood's goof as quarterback Blake Randak throws a 24-yard touchdown to his wideout, Harrison Tomlin Morgan, making the score 27-7. Eastwood over Coronado. Halftime stats, Eastwood quarterback Andrew Martinez, what a first half, 15 of 19, 126 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 carries, 62 yards. Running back Samuel Lopez, 18 carries, 117 yards. Wideout Curtis Murillo, 6 receptions, 54 yards, a touchdown. And wideout Michael Caldera, 6 receptions, 45 yards, 3 touchdowns. Coronado's quarterback Blake Randak, 3 of 4 for 32 yards, 1 touchdown, and wideout Harrison Tomlin Morgan, a touchdown reception. 9 minutes and change to go at the half. All Eastwood 27-7 over Coronado.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Great job as always, man. And Eastwood just all over Coronado.
Yeah, an equally great job by those Murillo brothers. Curtis, the receiver, caught the first touchdown pass of the contest, an 18-yarder to get things rolling. And Carson on the other side of the ball, a real demon and a ball hawk. A guy we'll likely wind up seeing in the Senior Bowl by the way, Senior Bowl because he's a senior, and the younger brother, of course, a junior, the receiver.
So I'll tell you this, Paul, senior football players have to have their SAT and ACT results submitted by December 1st to be eligible for the Combine and the game. They can go to 915showcase.com and the social media page, 915 Showcase, Greater El Paso Football Showcase, to see weekly top 5 performers, scores and stats of teams and players, and much, much more for the 915 Showcase and the Greater El Paso Football Showcase for our senior player of the game that we'll award later on in the show.
And they're serious about that. When you say you got to have it submitted by, they are dead serious. Some of the best players in the city over the last several years haven't been able to play in that game because why? They didn't submit their SAT scores. The all-time receiver in the history of El Paso football, Michael Blanco, not able to play in the Senior Bowl. Such a disappointment. If you guys, even if you're thinking about maybe playing college football, get that stuff done and show up on the Senior Bowl. Put a show on for the city of El Paso on a bright, shiny Saturday, as they mostly are.
So let's run down the scoring updates across the city of El Paso right now. Still awaiting to get underway out at the SAC, Montwood and Pebble Hills. Hopefully,
what's that about?
I know. Hopefully, get an update here from Alex Nicolas coming up here in just a little bit. But for our Cisco Movers game of the week, Riverside on top of Clint, 28-7. Austin leads Jefferson at the half, 28-0. Eastwood all over Coronado at the half, 27-7. Parkland with a 28-8 lead against Isleta. That one probably at halftime right now. We'll get an update from Coach Jaime Chavez. Del Valle on top of Bel Air. They blank them 14-0 at the half. Andress with a 44-0 lead over El Paso. Also, you're looking at Horizon with a 28-7 lead over Hanks. Some other games to get to right now. Other scoring updates. Burgess leads Irvin 40-6. Santa Teresa on top of Chaparral 41-0. Desert Warriors dominating that first half. Las Cruces with a 21-zip lead over Oregon Mountain right now. Also Crane on top of Tornillo 55-0. That game we just got a scoring update right now. Thursday scores from yesterday. Chapin beat El Dorado 48-7. Eastlake with a 43-20 victory over Socorro. And as you heard from earlier today from Alex Nicolas, Franklin gets a 25-21 narrow victory over Americas in District 1-6A. Before we get to our break, want to give a special thanks to Taco Avocat for dropping off some great food for us. If you need a new spot to try, experience Taco Avocat for feel-good fast food. Family packs are available for the big game, or you could stop by their drive-thru and grab Taco Avocat to go. Wear your school colors and receive 10% off at Taco Avocat. Let them know Football Friday Night sent you. Dine in at 2114 North Zaragoza or order online at tacoavocat.com. We're going to go out to more scores, more updates as we continue here on Football Friday Night. Stay with us as we continue right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, welcome back. Football Friday Night Week 10 continues. Our producer, Angel Munoz, running the boards, calling people up, queuing people up on the phone lines, doing it all behind the glass. Really appreciate Angel Munoz here, our fall intern of 2021. Paul McKinnon joins us as well. I'm Adrian Broadus filling in for Bo Bagley. He's off today, off next week as well. But we'll get him back in action here on Football Friday Night as far as playoffs go. After the show, you could check out 600ESPNElPaso.com for recaps. You can listen to the podcast. You could check out photos by Prep One and final scores for Football Friday Night. Make sure to subscribe to Football Friday Night On Demand for the replay of each show. Football Friday Night On Demand is available wherever you get your podcasts. Let's run down some scores right now, and then we'll jump out to some halftime scores as well. Riverside on top of Clint, 28-7 in our Cisco Movers game of the week. We just heard a halftime report from Joe Rodriguez, and we'll get some more updates from him as we continue. Austin all over Jeff, 28-zip. We'll get a halftime report from Jeremy Karanko here in a bit. Also right now, it's Eastwood all over Coronado, 27-7. Parkland leads Isleta, 28-8. Del Valle blanking
Bel Air at the end of the first half, 14-zip. Andrus all over El Paso, 44-0. Horizon with a 28-7 lead over Hanks. Burgess leading Irvin, 40-6. Santa Teresa on top of Chaparral right now. It's 44-0. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Paul. And then also Las Cruces 21, Oregon Mountain nothing. Crane with a 55-0 lead over Tornillo. Mountain View with a 14-zip score over San Eli. That's the last score I've got.
And Adrian, out-of-town scoreboard, Midland Legacy all over San Angelo Central, 55-14 Legacy getting ready for that finale next week with Odessa Permian. They're going to move to 5-0 in the district, 8-1 on the season. Central 4-5, 2-3. Remember, they got that forfeit win, lost to Friendship to open the district season. Central did, but because of an ineligible player, a lineman who was kicked out of a previous week's game and played the following week, Central got that win. So they're going to drop to 2-3. But still in the playoff hunt. Elsewhere, Friendship all over Odessa High, 49-28. Friendship, as I said, had to forfeit their one victory. So looking for that first win here tonight. Looks like they're going to get it at Odessa to District 2-5A. Lubbock Coronado killing brother Lubbock Monterey on a Halloween in the killing spirit, I guess. 27-7, Coronado over Monterey. Wow, Monterey, how the mighty have fallen, looking to fall to 3-6, 1-4 in that district. Coronado 5-4, 3-1 if they come away with a victory. Actually make that 4-1 in the district. Another close game, Amarillo, Paladuro, and Caprock. A battle of 1-3 and 1-4. Paladuro with the 14-13 lead. And in a Thursday nighter, Amarillo High, their final game of the regular season, 59-7, all over Lubbock High. They finish 8-2, 5-1 in the district. Probably the number 2 seed in that district, which means they'll get our third place from Super 5A, which will be either El Dorado or who am I leaving out?
Are you thinking of Bel Air?
Dorado and Bel Air, of course. Yeah, they'll play next week, and the winner of that contest will likely get Amarillo High. On to 3-5A. Cooper, thanks for the assist there, and then the young Mayan there, Adrian Broadus. Lubbock Cooper still rolling along, 28-3. The third quarter score up on Abilene Wiley as they look to move to 8-1, 4-0 in the district. The big win over Wichita Falls Ryder a couple of weeks back as they look for their 4th straight district title. Ryder 38-20, they on top of Canyon Randall, looking to move to a battle of 2-1 teams in that district. And Wichita Falls in a Thursday nighter takes down Plainview 56-35 as they move to 2-2 in that district. And for the 2-4A district, Andrews got smashed a week ago by Big Spring, bouncing back against Lakeview, 38-16 in a battle of 0-1 teams in the district as Andrews looks to grab the 3 seed in District 2-4A. And remember they'll get our District 1-4A, which is looking at the moment to be Riverside first place, Clint, Mountain View, and, maybe Fabens as the other 4. San Eli struggling tonight. Last we checked, Mountain View 30-0 leads them at halftime.
30-0. Wow. Good update right there. Las Cruces actually got an update. They're leading Oregon Mountain 42-7 at the half. Crane on top of Tornillo, like I mentioned, 55-0. Santa Teresa over Chaparral, 41-zip. Let's go out to Alex Nicolas. I know one game that's not at halftime right now. It's out at the SAC. It's Montwood and Pebble Hills. Alex, take it away.
5:55 in the opening quarter, and Montwood and Pebble Hills are scoreless to the halfway mark here in the opening quarter. Montwood would get the ball first after Pebble Hills would defer the opening toss. They would go 3 and out, and then Pebble Hills would pick up a first down on their first series, but would stall around midfield. Gael Ochoa with a nice punt would pin Montwood inside their 8-yard line. Right now, Montwood facing a 1st and 10 from their own 30. It was actually a 60-yard play right now on a little hitch screen. It was Isaiah Coronado going near side up the near sideline for a first down, but block in the back brings it back, and Montwood will be behind the chains on this next possession. 5:55 opening quarter, Montwood and Pebble Hills in a scoreless ball game here at the SAC.
Appreciate it, Alex. Thank you so much for that update. Let's get some halftime reports all across the city of El Paso. Let's start off with Jeremy Caranco, Austin and Jefferson. This one was a big one for Austin in the opening half. Jeremy, take it away.
6:37 until we see second half action here at Silver Fox Stadium. It is Austin 28-0 over Jefferson. A little bit of a shocker right now. Austin is being led by their backup guy right now, Sean Rodriguez. It's 86 yards, 2 touchdowns on 13 carries, 116 total yards for the Panthers, including a trickery play that opened up the scoring for Austin on a 3rd down and goal at the 10. It was Israel Luna catching a 10-yard pass from Luis Fernandez, and also a blocked punt, 2 blocked punts actually for Austin tonight, 1 with a touchdown. Sebastian Morales recovered that one at the 3:12 mark of the first half, and that has been the story for Jefferson tonight. They have been unable to move the ball offensively until late in the first half, where they had an opportunity, a 1st and goal at the 1, and they were unable to cash in. They turned it over through the hands of Dylan Navarro, their main guy, in the back of the end zone, and that's where we stand. 72 yards for Jefferson. They want to see more. It's Nathan Alcala with 31 yards. Late, he got 3 completions to set up that 1st and goal. That nothing happened. Roman Gomez with 2 catches for 37 yards. But total offensively, it's pretty even, but it's been Austin cashing in on turnovers and untimely times for Jefferson, turning it over and unable to finish. So we still have a little bit of time until the second half. We'll see if Jefferson can regroup and get back in this game. It is Austin 28 and Jefferson 0.
And Adrian, just a tough-minded team. You know, your best player, Jaden Wilson, he's dressed, but he's not healthy. They don't want to play him. And who knows how long he could go if they did. They don't make any excuses. They just plug in, okay, let's take the guy from the defense. Let's get that Rodriguez kid. Let's give him the ball, see what happens. And, of course, the offensive line is the same, which is a major plus for the Austin Panthers every week when they take the field. And it's just business as usual. No best player, who cares? 28-28, going to half.
Great job, Jeremy. Thank you so much for that halftime update. And it's so interesting, Paul, because Jaden Wilson last week rushes for 242. He has a pair of rushing touchdowns. And then on the defensive side, has 8 total tackles, 2 quarterback hurries, and then a pair of forced fumbles on defense. I mean, this guy was the do-it-all guy last week. We expect him to be big this week. He's not in action, and yet they still don't miss a beat.
In a huge game. And I would say in the tradition of Will Rodriguez, making plays on both sides of the football. Rodriguez graduates, and they says, okay, who's going to be our next guy? Who's going to carry us on offense, and who's going to be the leader on defense? And Jaden Wilson, that's your guy.
No, most definitely. Thank you so much, Jeremy, again for that update. Austin on top of Jefferson 28-zip. That one's still at halftime. About 5 minutes left before we get underway with the third quarter. Let's go out to another good one. It's Parkland taking on Isleta. Let's go out to Jaime Chavez for a halftime update on this game. Jaime, take it away.
Halftime at Isleta's Hutchins Stadium. And senior night for Isleta Indians, but it's all Parkland. Parkland 28, Isleta 8. Parkland quarterback Eric Ortiz, 4 touchdown passes, 39 and 28 yards to D.C. Daniels, a 35-yard touchdown pass to Fernando Ruan, and an 18-yard touchdown pass to Isaiah Beasley Ortiz. He's 8 of 11, 158 yards passing, 4 TDs, no interceptions. And D.C. Daniels, 3 catches, 30 and for 77 yards. Isaiah Beasley on the ground, 12 carries, 76 yards rushing. And the only score for Isleta, quarterback Damian Contreras, a 23-yard touchdown pass to Andres Martinez. That 2-point conversion was good. Contreras trying to pick up the slack for his teammates. He's a 6 of 13, 134 yards passing, that 1 touchdown, 1 fumble lost. And he also leads the Indians in rushing, 4 carries and 14 yards on the ground. And this is Isleta's final regular season game. It looks like their playoff hopes are on the line tonight as Parkland is taking control of this one. So we've got senior night and halftime festivities winding down at Isleta's Hutchins Stadium, which halftime, Parkland 28, Isleta 8.
Now, Paul, in this one, and really appreciate that, Coach, and appreciate that update. Again, Parkland on top of Isleta 28-8. But, Paul, now they might have a quarterback in Eric Ortiz for the future. DJ Chris Daniels is a dynamic wideout. Parkland's starting to get pieces together late in the year. I'm not talking about this year for a ton of success, but maybe for the future.
And I think that's a great call. I was just sitting here thinking the same thing. When you watch that kid, I've seen Parkland a couple of times. Crest Daniels looks like a specimen. That's a guy you say, okay, one-on-one coverage, throw the ball up, and that guy's going to go get it, and he definitely has the talent for it. Big kid, just not relatively tall, but wide as well, and muscular and strong. I think he's the whole package. They got to be able to get him the ball, and that was the problem. We talked about it. They went through 4 other quarterbacks before they finally settled on the sophomore, and getting Daniels the ball was a big part of their problem. They have him, of course, and Isaiah Beasley is a nice running back, just a junior. He'll be coming back as well, and he's, as you said, the sophomore QB, Ortiz, he's going to be a junior next year. Parkland may be looking to, lost season maybe. They're still going to sneak into the playoffs, but better things to come in 2022.
One correction, though. He said playoff hopes were on the line for Isleta in this game. Not the case, though, in this one, Paul.
No, again, 5 teams in the district, 4 going to the playoffs, and one of those 5 teams are the Hanks Knights. And repeat this exactly for District 2 4A. 5 teams in that district, 4 going to the playoffs, and one of those teams, unfortunately, is San Elizario. Down years for both of those clubs. Young teams, anytime you're young, well, most of the time when you're young, Coronado can feel their pain. It's going to be a long season.
Let's get another halftime report right now and jump out to J.D. Sursley. It's Del Valle and Bel Air. Last time we checked on this one, the Conquistadores were up 14-0. Let's go out to J.D. Sursley and get a halftime report. J.D., take it away.
Yeah, we just started the second half. Del Valle 14, Bel Air 0. Juan Archuleta with a 3-yard touchdown run to start the game. And then right before halftime, a blown-up play fumble by Bel Air, one of the many fumbles of the game. Dominic Calderon picked it up for 20 yards and returned it for a touchdown. So we just started the third quarter, 14, Del Valle, Bel Air 0.
Thank you so much, JD. Give us a call if you get some hot action from that one. Again, Del Valle on top of Bel Air, 14-0 in that game. And not too much of a surprise there. However, interesting that it's a low score to start off this one, Paul.
Yeah, without a doubt, I would say the one positive, if you're a Bel Air Highlanders fan, and there's probably still got to be a few out there. It's been a tough season. But they do seem to come alive in the second half. And to be only down 14 points is, especially against Del Valle, that is more than a minor victory for them. Maybe they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Maybe they get hot. On the other end, Del Valle really needs to get past these guys so they get to Chapin at Irvin Memorial Stadium a week from now. The battle for the district title in Super 5A as Del Valle looks to go back-to-back.
And again, to reemphasize it, the Chapin Huskies have won 6 straight. This district, we thought, hey, maybe Del Valle would cruise through it. Not the case at all, as Chapin has come alive after, dropping 2 of their first 3 games to start off the season and now reeling off 6 straight victories.
Yeah, and a big part of it is that sophomore receiver, Anthony Rivera, who's really exploded. Go back a couple of weeks, 4 interceptions. I say great receiver. Well, he's playing on the D side as well, shutting people down. 4 picks in one contest and catching a ton of balls. Had a huge game yesterday against El Dorado. Speaking of huge, a couple of weeks back, he had a 200-plus yard receiving game as well. Oh, by the way, I don't know that we mentioned this, but it does merit a mention. El Dorado and Chapin. We talk about new head coaches in town. Well, Ryan Warner's been around for a few years, but Frankie Martinez over at El Dorado, those 2 gents, teammates. The first senior class at Chapin High School, Frankie Martinez, the one back, and Ryan Warner, one of a bevy of really good receivers for Darren Walker's first head coaching job.
What a tree right there for Darren Walker.
No doubt.
Anthony Rivera averages 97 receiving yards per game. Timothy Pastron, 89 receiving yards per game. Nice receivers that they have defensively. They went into last night's game with 13 sacks, 7 interceptions on defense as well, Paul. So they do it on both ends.
It was bombs away to Pastron last night. They were just going deep post patterns without a soul in sight, and Standiford just hanging it up there. He's got a nice arm. What I really liked, though, was his footwork on the outs and the quick hitches.
Let's get another halftime report right now. Andrus was all over El Paso. Back to Ray Adauto for another halftime update for this game. Ray, take it away.
As the halftime winds down here at R.R. Jones Stadium, the score remains the Andrus Eagles 44, El Paso High 0. It's been Andrus from the get-go, although it took them 6 minutes and 7 seconds to get their first score in the first half. And so once they got that going, it was Katie bar the door. Jeremiah Cooper for the Andrus Eagles, a quarterback. outstanding tonight. He and his linemen have done a yeoman's job of getting the Andrus Eagles into the end zone. Doesn't help that they outweigh El Paso High by at least 30 to 40 pounds, at least on the line. And even again, as I said earlier, one of the defensive linemen scored a touchdown for Andrus as well. So as we get rid of the senior night activities and halftime, the Andrus Eagles are coming back out to the field with a score of 44-0 over the El Paso High Tigers.
Great job, Ray. Thank you so much for that update. Appreciate that. Andrus all over El Paso, 44-0. Let's go out to Joey Panisi. Another game going on right now. Another halftime update to get to as Horizon leads Hanks 28-7. Joey, take it away.
Okay, once again, Jacob Kihas took over, and it's now Horizon 41, Hanks 7, and we're at the half. Let me give you some halftime stats really quick. 388 total yards of offense for Horizon, 89 for Hanks. That tells a story. I want to just give another praise to this Xavier Johnson from Hanks. He's a junior. He's 5'11", 205 pounds, and I've been watching closely with my binoculars. He's just not getting any help up front. I'd really like to see what this kid could do, with a good line in front of him. But he's a gamer. He's got 100. Well, he's got almost every single carry for the season. The quarterback Marcus Porras, sophomore, he's getting better as the game goes along, and I'm surprised that Hanks hasn't utilized. They have 3 6'3" receivers: Devontae Lyle, Adalius Coleman, and Eric Fokodal, and they've all caught big passes over the middle because they jump up like Frisbee dogs and get them. So I think if they can get that line short up, Hanks will be tougher next year. Now to Horizon, Kihas, five passes, 93 yards. He's got 959 yards for the year. He should go over 1,000 by the end of this game. He's passed for his 13th touchdown of the year. Ernie Garcia, 8 carries, 148 yards, 3 TDs, which gives him 20 on the year, and he's over 1,500 yards of rushing. And then they have a surprise tonight, little Jesus Santana. I say little. He's 5'6" tall, 150. He's carried 6 times for 79 yards and a touchdown. He's what's been keeping Hanks honest when they double up on Ernie Garcia. So let's see what happens this second half. It's senior night. Hanks has not won a ball game here all season. So I'm sure they'd love to pull this one out. But we'll see what happens. They've got a lot of work to do. So at the half, from Hanks High School, it's Horizon 41, Hanks 7.
Appreciate it, Joey. Thank you so much for the update. 41-7, Horizon is the lead right now. Let's get another update as we continue here on Football Friday night, as we continue right now. Next up, we got Brandon the Iceman Cone. Some hot action out with Eastwood and Coronado. Brandon, take it away.
7-13, third quarter. Eastwood 34-13 over Coronado. Coronado gets the opening kickoff to begin the second half. Great field position all the way to the Eastwood 38 is quarterback / defensive back Blake Randag takes that kickoff 47 yards to get them in great field position. 2 plays later at the 10:26 mark of the third, T-Birds running back Diego Rentana takes it 29 yards to the house on the touchdown run. The PAT is blocked. Eastwood 27-13, Coronado making it a game. But then at the 9:54 mark of the third, the Troopers answer right back and say, anything you can do, we can do a heck of a lot better, as quarterback Martinez throws his 5th touchdown of the game. 11 touchdown tosses for this kid in the last 2 games. He had 5 last week against Socorro. He finds wideout Curtis Morillo for the 42-yard strike. Eastwood 34-13. 6:43 here, third quarter. Eastwood 34-13 over Coronado.
Great job, Brandon. Thank you so much for that update. Pair of scores early on for this Eastwood Coronado performance. And Paul, we've been talking about this Eastwood team for a while now. Last week they breezed through an easy game against Socorro. Next week it's the big game against Americas to try to keep a playoff hope alive. They've got to keep it up though in this game, and it's their quarterback Andrew Martinez who's doing it all.
Yeah, got a little close for a second, little interesting. Got my interest, but as Brandon said, Eastwood just struck right back. The reason if Coronado finds a way to beat Eastwood here, Eastwood's 2-3, Coronado's 1-4 in the district. Those two could fall into a flat-footed tie at 2-4 for fifth place. Of course, Eastwood finishes next week with Americas. If Eastwood could pull off a win there, that'd bring Americas down to 3-4. If Coronado's able to win their finale, pretty big if, that'd be three teams tied at 3-4 for the fourth and final playoff spot, and boy, would that ever be fun. Let's see. What would that look like? Eastwood would have beaten Americas. Coronado would have beaten Eastwood. Americas would have beaten Coronado. And you know how they solve those things in the El Paso Independent School Districts. Break out your coins, fellas, and give them a flip.
So here's the thing. This is some breaking news, and just breaking news to some, but I was told that they got away from the coin toss just this year, and they're going to what they do for the East Texas schools. And it's because, and the only reason I know this, Paul, is because me and Alex were talking about this earlier in the week on our podcast, and I got some feedback from one of our friends, Matt Stepp of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, told me that the coin toss is out the window. Instead, EPISD will go to the net points scoring system.
Boy, I sure hope that's true, because for the entire remainder of the state, that's the way they do things. But EPISD has always been the stubborn holdout, and they control 6A, and, of course, they control District 25A. News to me, but, we just had athletic directors running for the doors. We've had a couple, Mike Williams, of course, at YSD, and Maria Kennedy and EPISD. So, nothing would surprise me.
Well, whether it's points, a coin flip, or what, we might see that out of 2-5A either way. So I hear you on that. Hey, we've got another one going out right now. It's out at the SAC. It's Montwood and Pebble Hills. End of the first quarter of this one. Let's jump out to Alex Nicolas for some coverage of this one. Alex, take it away.
9:48 and running left until halftime. Pebble Hills and Montwood still scoreless. Montwood had the best opportunity, or the first opportunity at points on their last possession. They would miss a 46-yard field goal from the far hash that was actually just short. A really good boot that just fell just short for Montwood's kicker, Diego Savalos. Right now, Pebble Hills is driving in Montwood territory at the 43-yard line, facing a second down and 11, as it's the first time that Pebble Hills has crossed the 50-yard line. 9:17 and running left here in the opening half, and Pebble Hills and Montwood remain scoreless here at the SAC.
Appreciate it so much there, Alex. Give us a call if you get some hot action or a scoring update for this one right now. But scoreless after one, it just seems like no one is willing to score here in this one so far.
And I think, we talked about this earlier, and I think we hit on it, and I think we saw what Franklin did with Americas. They came out and laid an egg for almost the entire first half. And now we see Pebble Hills not getting off to their customary start against a team that's, pretty much done in Montwood, especially without their best player, Yamil Oaxaca, the terrific wide receiver. A matter of Pebble Hills and Franklin and, whoever else, I guess we're putting Del Valle in that boat, all looking to big games in a week. Del Valle may be looking at Chapin, overlooking the Bel Air Highlanders. Pebble Hills, they have a chance at their first district title ever, going up against undefeated Franklin a week from now. And Franklin, looking at that game as well, maybe underperformed and almost paid the price for it against Americas in the 4 o'clock kickoff at the SAC.
So many storylines in that game, Paul. You have Mark Torres from the Darren Walker coaching tree going up against his old mentor and boss, Darren Walker, and the Franklin Cougars, who are unbeaten in district play.
Yeah, always a fun one. I'm not sure if they're as happy with each other in the past. I remember Pebble Hills a couple of years ago, 2019, making Franklin go out to the SAC at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning to play a contest.
I remember that.
Yeah, so maybe just a hint of bad blood into that rosy relationship.
I love it. I love it so much. Hey, want to give a special thanks to Real Texas Builders. Real high school football action is brought to you by Real Texas Builders. You can ask your home builder if they're members of the El Paso Association of Builders, the home of Real Texas Builders. Learn more online at elpasobuilders.com. Let's run down some scores before we hit a break right now. Last time we checked, it was half out at our Cisco Movers game of the week. Riverside led Clint 28-7. Also, Austin all over Jefferson at the break, 28-0. Eastwood leads Coronado
34-13 third quarter action for that game. New scoring update. Parkland on top of Isleta, 35-8. Still scoreless out at the SAC. No score between Montwood and Pebble Hill. Zeros across the board for that game. Del Valle leads Bel Air 14-0. Also, Andrus all over El Paso, 44-0. Last time we checked with Joey Panisi, it was Horizon who had a 41-7 lead over Hanks. Burgess with a 40-6 lead over Irvin. Also, some more scoring updates to get to. Santa Teresa on top of Chaparral, 41-0. Las Cruces with a 42-7 lead over Oregon Mountain. Crane leads Tornillo 55-0. Also, Mountain View with a 30-0 lead over San Eli. Correct me if I'm wrong there on that one, Paul, but I'm pretty sure Mountain View on top of San Eli, 30-0. Also, another one to get to from yesterday, some final scores. Chapin beats El Dorado 48-7. Eastlake with a 43-20 victory over Socorro. And from earlier today out at the SAC, you heard from Alex Nicolas. Franklin beats Americas 25-21. We're going to take a timeout right now. When we come back, more scoring updates to get to across the city of El Paso as Week 10 of the high school football schedule continues. Football. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, Football Friday Night continues. Halloween edition. I guess we got the Jason theme song now going on.
Yeah, name that slasher flick, absolutely, and put a number on it.
What's your power rankings of slasher films?
I'm
throwing curveballs at you.
Have you noticed there's a new Halloween movie in the theaters?
Yes.
Spoiler alert, I hear that Michael Myers...
No, don't say anything. Please don't say anything.
I hear Michael Myers dies in this one. Of course, he dies in all of them. I think he was shot in the first one, burned in the second one. In fact, he was burned so badly, it took him a couple of films to come back, I think. When he got decapitated. I use that word in case young ears are there. Incapacitated, that's what I just said. And in this one, he dies as well. But this time, it's from a new thing. Natural causes. When was the first Halloween movie? 1978? At the very least, Michael Myers has to have arthritis by now, does he not?
I'm with you on that. I think our film buff, Angel Munoz, would be able to help answer some of these questions that we have about Michael Myers surviving. What do you think, Angel? Are you in on this, too? What are your slasher films?
Okay, I have to make a confession.
He wasn't born.
Well, first, I wasn't born.
Right.
But second, I've only seen the first Halloween movie from 1978.
Okay, not bad.
And only then I only caught up on it like this month.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just watch it for the first time this month, and I did, and it was pretty good.
Through his fingers. Yeah, he picked the right one at least. So
yeah,
it's kind of downhill from there, boss. So
that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Halloween edition of Football Friday Night continues across the city of El Paso. We're having way too much fun back here. In our Cisco Movers game of the week, Riverside leads Clint 28-7. More scoring updates to get to before we get out to our reporters. Austin leads Jefferson 28-0. Eastwood on top of Coronado, 34-13. We'll get an update from Randy the Iceman Cone to see if there's been any. Actually, I just got an update. It looks like Eastwood leads Coronado now 34-19. Coronado gets a score just recently. Also, another update to get to. Parkland leads Isleta 35-8. No score between Montwood and Pebble Hills. We'll get another update from Alex Nicolas and see if that has changed. Del Valle led Bel Air 14-0 at the half. We'll see if that's changed as well. Andrus all over El Paso 44-0. And also Horizon with a 41-7 lead over Hanks. Let's go out to some of our games right now. First off with our Cisco Movers game of the week. It's Clint and Riverside. Let's go out to Joe Rodriguez, who's got this one. Clint Riverside. Joe, take it away.
11:50 left in the ball game, and it is Riverside Rangers beating the Clint Lions by the score of 28-7. The Riverside Rangers took the opening possession of the second half, or the third quarter, and they went 10 plays. They had a 4th and 4, and they went for a 25-yard field goal attempt that was no good by Jonathan Reyes, a rare miss by the Riverside Rangers keeper. And right now, as I came off the air, quarterback for the Clint Lions, Isaiah Gonzalez, threw an interception to Alfredo Sigala, who was on the blitz, lifted up his hands, jumped to try and block down the pass, and it was intercepted by Sigala. The Clint Lions were on the 16th play of a drive that began at their own 20-yard line. And right now, as I'm bringing you this report, there is a flag on the play. And it's going to be half the distance on the spot foul for the Riverside Rangers. Nonetheless, they will be taking over at their own 13-yard line, the Riverside Rangers, with 11:50 to go in the ball game. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you in the studio with 11:50 to go in the ball game. It is Riverside has the ball at their own 13-yard line, and they are leading the Clint Lions by the score of 28-7.
City best 28 takeaways now for that Riverside defense, and Clint should just be happy that Sigala didn't score off it. I think he's got a couple of scooping scores on the season, so...
Great job there by Joe Rod for our Cisco Movers game of the week. Riverside on top of Clint 28-7. I came in leading it off with Riverside's averaging 66 points over the past 3 games. Paul, it's their defense. Let's be honest. It's the defense of the Rangers that's keeping them in all these games. Hats off to Gary Ricotta and staff for this stout defense.
And when you look at some of the teams Junior Salcedo out in Mountain View, they destroyed that Mountain View passing game, and they've turned that trick a few times this season. As you said, the defense is stout, penetrating, gapping, attacking. But let's not sleep on the offense either. What other team in the city has 2,000-yard rushers in their backfield? Quarterback Angel Munoz and the running back Jose Guardado, who, by the way, has done that while missing time, been nursing injuries throughout the season.
We've talked about significant streaks in recent memory. One of the current streaks that I'm looking at, Chapin winning 6 straight, Franklin also winning 6 straight. How about Jeremy Karanko? 15 straight quarters of scoreless action when it comes to the opponents. Let's see if that has changed. Austin and Jefferson, another interesting game with a lot of district title implications in this one. Let's go to Jeremy Karanko to see if things have changed. Jeremy, take it away.
1:55 third quarter, and mercifully it is over 28-7. Jefferson has scored. Austin still leading 28-7. Nathan Alcala, a 12-yard touchdown run on a turnover, guys. Angel Cabrera with a huge fumble recovery before that score. And Jefferson has just recovered another fumble inside the Austin 20. This could get interesting.
Wow.
Jefferson in the red zone. And it was Jesse Chavez with the recovery for this one. Jefferson heading back onto the field for a first down and 10 at the Austin 20 is 1:55 third quarter, 28-7, Austin leading Jefferson.
And I was all prepped to tell you what this Jefferson loss was going to mean to District 2-5A, but I guess we'll just hold that one for another report.
Wow, I'm so impressed. It's a comeback. Don't call it a comeback there, Paul McKinnon. I love it. Hey,
Silky Sullivan.
We got a real-time update right now. Out at the SAC, it's Montwood and Pebble Hills. Let's see if anything has changed. Let's go to Alex Nicolas, who's joining us on the phone lines right now. Alex, take it away.
4:59 left here until halftime, and Montwood strikes first. It would be a 9-play, 83-yard drive. But here's the kicker. Montwood didn't drive all 83 yards. They were actually aided by 3 personal foul penalties that were after the play. They were dead ball personal fouls, which aided Montwood to drive. It would be a Oaxaca catching a touchdown pass. Diego Oaxaca, that is, a 3-yard pass from Kevin Melendez. Melendez, his 16th touchdown pass of the season. That would be at the 5:05 mark here until halftime. So a little bit of an upset alert brewing in Far East El Paso once again. 4:59 left until halftime. Montwood 7, Pebble Hills nothing.
Great job, Alex. Thank you so much for that update.
So one Oaxaca goes down, Yamil Oaxaca, and the other Oaxaca, Diego Oaxaca, comes back off the injured list. Remember, he went down, week 2, week 3, when Burgess came calling, hasn't played since. So, yeah, good news, bad news. You miss Yamil, but it's nice to have a little brother back in the fold.
No, most definitely. So, again, the Rams on top of the Spartans, 7-0, trying to play spoiler in District 1 6A right now, mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. You just heard a real-time update right now. Real high school football action is brought to you by Real Texas Builders. You can ask your home builder if they're members of the El Paso Association of Builders, the home of Real Texas Builders. Visit
Visit ElPasoBuilders.com for more information. Let's go out to another game that's going on right now. Parkland and Isleta. Let's go out to Jaime Chavez for an update on this one. Jaime, take it away.
5:57 left in the third quarter. It is Parkland 49, Isleta 8. Isaiah Beasley, he's got 2 touchdown runs this quarter of 73 and 43 yards. He's got 18 carries thus far, 238 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. He also caught an 18-yard touchdown pass from Eric Ortiz, the Parkland quarterback, who has thrown 5 touchdowns tonight. He just threw a 23-yard touchdown pass to D.C. Daniels, and he's thrown 3 to Daniels for 38, 28, and 23 yards. And tonight, Ortiz, 10 of 13, 210 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. So we've got, okay, let's see, the clock is out momentarily, but we've got 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Parkland, 49, Isleta, 8.
Great job, Jaime. Thank you so much there. Parkland starting to run away with this one and really starting to put it on Isleta even more so than they had at the half. Great job there, Jaime, as we continue here on Football Friday Night. Another game to get to right now. It is let's jump out back to the phone lines right now and welcome on Brandon the Iceman Cone. It is Eastwood and Coronado. Brandon, take it away.
11:56 left in this one. Eastwood just went up 41-19 over Coronado. How about this at the 4:44 mark of the third? Coronado QB Randag, he throws a 6-yard touchdown to Cade Little, but the PAT was no good, making the score Eastwood 34-19 over Coronado. Coronado hanging around in this game, holding their own to say the least. But then Eastwood, of course, so powerful, they come right back just a few seconds into the fourth quarter, 11:56 to be exact. Troopers running back Samuel Lopez scores on a 6-yard touchdown run. PAT was good, making the score Eastwood 41-19. Worth noting, Andrew Martinez, just a great game so far for this kid, as he's got 6 touchdowns on the evening. 6 touchdowns last week against the Crow. 12 touchdowns for this kid within the last 2 weeks. We got 11:48 left in this contest. Eastwood 41-19 over Coronado.
Great job there, Brandon. Thank you so much for that update as we continue. Eastwood leading Coronado right now 41-19 as we continue here. We got a real-time update right now. It's our Cisco Movers game of the week, Riverside and Clint. Let's go out to Joe Rod, who's got an update for this one. Joe, take it away.
10:38 left in the ball game, and the Riverside Rangers have extended their lead over the Clint Lions by the score of 35-7. A 6-play, 87-yard drive was capped off with a Frank Luna 33-yard touchdown run on a beautifully executed reverse. The quarterback for the Riverside Rangers, Angel Munoz, made an amazing block to get Frank Luna into the end zone, and with that, the extra point was good. And with that, like I said, I think this puts this game out of reach for the Clint Lions. They have 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in the ball game, and they are behind by 4 touchdowns. Looks like we could start announcing it and calling it the way it is, that the Riverside Rangers are going to win a district title. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you on the studio. With 10:30 left in the ball game, it is Riverside Rangers leading the Clint Lions by the score of 35-7.
Rangers finishing with a flourish, and Joe Rod got it right. Riverside's going to win his game. They're going to move to 9-1 on the season, 4-0 in the district, and they're going to win their first district title since 2005. It's a big night to be a Riverside Ranger.
Let's go out to another game that's going on right now. Hot action out at Del Valle and Bel Air. J.D. Sursley joins us next. J.D., take it away.
A minute and 40 left in the third quarter. Del Valle waking up a little. It is Del Valle 28, Bel Air 0. Still a little bit of sloppy around here. Flags, banana peels, fumbles, interceptions. Jesse Ramos with the 1-yard touchdown 5 minutes ago to make it 21-0. And then a Diego Medell interception put them back in their own side. And then a Christian Martinez 3-yard run touchdown would have made it 28. So Juan Archuleta, Jesse Ramos, Christian Martinez, and then the fumble recovery. So now it makes it 28 Del Valle, Bel Air 0, a minute and 20 left in the third quarter.
Thank you, JD. Appreciate the update on that one. We got some real-time update going on right now. Austin and Jeff, it's a game now, Paul. It's a game. Let's go out to Jeremy Karanko, who joins us next. Jeremy, take it away.
1:30, third quarter. Nathan Alcala has found Dylan Navarro. This time he catches it. It's a 20-yard touchdown, 28-13. The misfortune of blocked kicks continues for Jeff. They missed the PAT there. So 28-13. Dylan Navarro, guys, drops a big-time pass at the end of the first half in the end zone. He makes up for it there, a 20-yard catch, wide open on the right hash for the score, finding his way in on the cross route. And then now Austin is the running game back. Gabriel Lugo, another guy, backup guy, just carried the ball for 20 yards. So he's up to the 44 of Austin. So let's see if Austin can answer. But Jefferson back in this game, a big play. 2 turnovers has changed this game. It's 28-13. Austin leading Jeff, 41 seconds, third quarter.
Wow, I love it. Hey, we got a great game out there. Jeremy, give us a call if you get another scoring update. Appreciate that one right there. Jefferson trying to make this one a game, 28-13 in the third quarter, as you just heard from Jeremy Karanko.
And as that one draws nearer, Horizon starting to flex out at Excalibur Stadium. Ernie Garcia, 22-yard touchdown run. That knocked the lead to 47-7. And Angel Simmental just returned an interception, 44 yards. The pick six moves the lead up to 54-7 now. Horizon all over Hanks as they look forward to the matchup next week against undefeated in the district, Canutillo. 2 undefeateds in the district. Canutillo just 1 loss on the season and a pretty darn good team since Jump Street. That one's going to be played out at Horizon and should be a fun one.
So LJ Martin, he has a bye week along with the Canutillo Eagles. Last week, 377 on the ground, 5 rushing touchdowns
in about a half and 5 minutes.
Right, like he plays a little bit of a little bit in the second half. He gets nominated for the Build Ford Tough High School Football Player of the Week. But do you have to play 4 quarters for that? I think that's how it works, Paul. So I guess that's the case. Hey, we got another game going on right now. It's out at the SAC, Montwood and Pebble Hills. Alex Nicholas joins us next for another update. Alex, take it away.
2:32 left until halftime. Montwood 10, Pebble Hills nothing. When you last left me, Montwood had just scored a touchdown. The ensuing possession on a third down play, Devin Rojas would pick off Gael Ochoa. That would set up a 42-yard field goal by Diego Zabalos. Remember, he missed a 46-yarder earlier. Bangs a 42-yarder into the south end zone, cleared it by about 3 to 5 yards after that as he cleared the field goal post with 2:32 left here until halftime. Montwood upsetting Pebble Hills 10-0.
Wow, great stuff there, Alex. 10-0 Montwood, trying to play spoiler in 1-6A.
And a nice leg, 42 yards out. It's nice. The field goal kicking in this town is good. There's a few guys out there, of course. The Malucci kid.
I knew you were going to say
him. Yeah. How could you not? The guy knocks in a 45-yarder to beat Eastwood as a freshman on the final snap of the game. You got to love a kid like that. Plus, he comes from a long line of Malucci's. I've told you this before. I used to call him the kicking Malucci's. I think the first one was Aldo Malucci at Del Valle, maybe around 89. Sorry, I can't remember the other gents, but the kicking Malucci brothers, all at Del Valle, and I'm sure Julian Malucci comes from that line of great Southern El Paso kickers.
Are you sure you want to praise kickers today after that, what was it, America's missed field goal, and then Franklin takes it back, wins the game?
Yeah. Well, I didn't say it was perfect. I just said it's better than usual.
I hear you. Let's run down some scoring updates right now all across the city of El Paso. This one just about over. Narcisco Movers game of the week. Riverside all over Clint, 35-7. Austin leading Jefferson, 28-13. Late in the third quarter of that game. Eastwood all over Coronado, 41-19. Parkland with a 49-8 lead over Isleta. Montwood
hanging on to a 10-0 lead over Pebble Hills. Upset alert out at the SAC, and Del Valle just getting another update from JD Zersley. They're up 28-0 over Bel Air. Andrus on top of El Paso 57-2. And speaking of 50s, how about Horizon with a 54-7 lead against Hanks? Other scores to get to across the city of El Paso. Burgess with a 47-6 lead against Irvin. Santa Teresa, it's a final right now, it looks like, and they defeat Chaparral 41-0. Las Cruces leading Organ Mountain 49-7. Some other out-of-town scores to get to from today. It looks like Crane and Tornillo is final. Crane beats Tornillo 62-0. Any other scores to get to, Paul, from out of town?
No, just looking at a note from that Mountain View game, 30-0 halftime. Mountain View over St. Ellie. That one's in the third quarter now. But Junior Salcedo, remember he got knocked out a week ago. Riverside worked him over pretty well. But back in the contest tonight, going a little slower maybe than usual, but entered the night with just at 2,000 yards throwing on the season. The Mountain View all-time record for a season, 21-25 yards, and Salcedo in the first half has surpassed that. So for a season, Junior Salcedo becomes the all-time leading Mountain View thrower. And that's coming off the heels of a pretty good two-year quarterback, I think it was, in Chris Gamboa.
I love it right there. Hey, we're going to take a timeout right now. Actually, we've got some real-time updates that are coming in here on the show. And while we do, let's pay some bills as we continue here on Football Friday Night. I want to give a big shout-out to Cisco Movers. They can help with packing, boxing, heavy lifting, and moving your belongings to your next destination. When we're talking about our game of the week, it's Cisco Movers who brings it to you every week. They also offer storage at their facility. Take it from me. I've worked with this family-owned company like Cisco Movers. They'll give you a great price, just like they gave me a great price, and they'll help you on your next big move. Get started by filling out a request form online at CiscoMovers.com. Cisco Movers, the best move you'll make in El Paso. Let's go out to Alex Nicolas. We've got some real-time updates to get to right now. Montwood and Pebble Hills. Alex, take it away.
2:08 left until halftime. Montwood 17, Pebble Hills nothing. 3 straight possessions by Pebble Hills, 3 straight turnovers. 2 of them end up in the hands of Cameron Harrelson. The latest one, Harrelson, a 29-yard pick six. He jumped right in front of a screen here on the near side of the 30-yard line. So we'll give him that 29-yard pick six. That would be at the 150 mark of the opening half. Harrelson also recovered a fumble, which started the string of 3 straight turnovers by the Pebble Hills Spartans. So 92 seconds left until halftime. Montwood leading Pebble Hills 17-0.
I can't believe it. I just can't. This 17-0, the Rams over the Spartans. What happened, Paul?
I'll tell you what will happen if this score holds up, and what will happen is Pebble Hills will have no shot at the district title. Franklin's at 5-0. Hills, if they lose this one, drop to 4-2. Eastlake is at 4-1, and of course, if they finish out, that means the seeding: Franklin number 1, Eastlake number 2, Pebble Hills number 3, and Americas/Eastwood, the likely 4 seed coming out of District 1-6A.
Game's starting to heat up right now all across the city of El Paso. We'll take a timeout right now. When we come back, more recaps, more live scores, and more Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, welcome back to Football Friday Night. As we continue, it's week number 10. It's Halloween edition. As we continue here on Football Friday Night, Angel Munoz, our producer, back in the booth. He's getting these calls to come in. He's also screening everything here on the show. Paul McKinnon, Adrian Broadus, as we continue here on the show. Let's run down the scoreboard. Riverside on top of Clint, 35-7 late in that game. Austin on top of Jefferson, 28-13. Eastwood leads Coronado, 41-19. Parkland all over Ysleta, 49-8. Montwood, so upset alert. They lead Pebble Hills 17-0 in the first half. Del Valle with a 28-zip lead over Bel Air, and Andrus all over El Paso 57-2. We've got Horizon with a 54-7 lead over Hanks. Burgess leads Irvin 54-13, and also one other score to get to out of town. It's Las Cruces with a 49-7 lead over Organ Mountain.
And in that Burgess game, Mustangs have emptied the bench. The backup quarterback, Alex Rios, 4-yard quarterback keeper to get it to 54-13. Set up by another backup, Andrew Armendariz, getting a little time. 70-yard kickoff return to get him in plus territory. Burgess Mustangs all over this one, going to run away with it. And if they're able to get past El Paso High a week from now, for the third consecutive year, they're going to have a share of the District 2-5A title.
No, that's exactly right. Hey, let's go out to Austin Jefferson. We got a great one boiling up right now in the fourth quarter. Jeremy Karanko with the coverage of this game. Jeremy, go right on ahead.
9:29 fourth quarter, Austin 28, Jefferson 19. Another touchdown for the Silver Foxes off a turnover of 3 straight fumbles for the Austin Panthers, if you can believe it. And guess who this one comes off of? Jaden Wilson comes into the game, guys. Here, Austin awake. Hello, let's put in Jaden Wilson. We got a ball game now.
Wow.
And on the handoff, on the second one, he fumbles the football. Can you believe that? And then Jefferson is cooking right now offensively. An 18-yard touchdown pass. Alcala finds Roman Gomez. They try the 2. Unfortunately, it is incomplete to the right side to Navarro. Again, a little bit of a short pass. Doesn't reach him. And right now, Austin will receive the football back, but they have been shut down in the second half. 9:26, fourth quarter. It is Austin 28 and Jefferson 19.
A lot of missed opportunities here by the Jefferson Silver Foxes. It was first a drop pass in the end zone that negated a touchdown. Now it's a holding call that brings back a 62-yard rushing touchdown by quarterback Nathan Alcala. This game should have been tied right now, Paul.
It's a difference between winning and losing.
That's right.
This has not been Jefferson 2021. This is maybe a little bit of Jefferson 2020. But game's still going on. They're still in. That's the good part of it. They're still fighting the good fight. Somebody's making a play. Unfortunately, the Laundry's bringing it back.
Great job, Jeremy. We'll keep us posted. If there's any hot action, give us a call right away. Let's keep it moving right now as we continue here on Football Friday Night. It's Eastwood and Coronado. Last time we checked in on this one, the Troopers were on top of the Thunderbirds 41-19. Let's see if anything has changed and go back out to Brandon the Iceman Cone. Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, just south of 3 minutes to go in this one, 3:02 to be exact. Still the same score, Troopers 41-19 over Coronado. Worth noting that Eastwood quarterback Martinez is actually human after all. He throws an interception picked by wide receiver / DB Cade Little at the Coronado 3 as they were going for the end zone. But Coronado couldn't do anything with it, gives it right back to Eastwood. So the Troopers trying to run this thing out. Little under 3 minutes to go in the contest. It's all Eastwood, 41-19 over Coronado.
Great job, Brandon. Thank you so much for that report as we continue here on Football Friday Night.
And Adrian, this one in from Riverfront Stadium and our Joe Rodriguez. Angel Munoz, 15-yard keeper, his first touchdown of the night. Riverside now leads Clint 42-7 in the district title game.
We'll get out to Joe Rod in just a little bit for our Cisco Movers game of the week. But before we do, let's go back out to the phone lines right now. Welcome on JD Sursley. It's Del Valle and Bel Air. JD, take it away.
7:20 left in the fourth quarter. Del Valle 35, Bel Air 7. No player really flashy today. Like, it's all player by committee. Both teams, everyone is just struggling and fighting. Dominic Calderon with a fumble return touchdown. Juan Archuleta with a running touchdown that was, give me 1 second, a 3-yard scamper. Christian Martinez, 3-yard touchdown. Jesse Ramos with a 1-yard touchdown. And then recently Eli Molina with a 5-yard touchdown from Jesse Ramos. And then Bel Air recently just drove it down methodically, like I said, team by committee. And then Jason Smith with a 5-yard touchdown. So it's been a complete team commitment game between both sides, but obviously Del Valle is supposed to be dominating, and that's what they started to do in the second half. 7:09 left in the fourth quarter. Del Valle 35, Bel Air 7.
Thank you so much, JD. 35-7 for the Del Valle Conquistadores as they get ready to take on Chapin, which will be that eventual district title finale. It looks like we've got some real-time updates right now. Our producer, Angel Munoz, is on it right now as we continue here on Football Friday Night. Looks like we've got a big one going on with Austin and Jefferson, hoping to bring on Jeremy Caranco here in just a second. Some other scores to get to, just like Paul mentioned, Riverside up 42-7 in our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. We'll get to Joe Rod in just a bit. But first, let's go out to Jeremy Caranco, who joins us. Austin and Jefferson. Hot action going on. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, 8:31 fourth quarter. Well, we mentioned Austin got the ball back. And Israel Luna, the savior for the Panthers the last couple of weeks of great games, he just broke free for a 64-yard touchdown, deflating Jefferson's comeback effort. They still have some time left. 8:31, fourth quarter. It is Austin now up 35-19 over Jefferson.
Great stuff there, Jeremy. Give us a call if you get any other hot action as we continue. Wow. So Jefferson scores. It's 28-19. Makes it a game. However, Austin's able to answer just right away and get a touchdown to give them that 2-score lead.
After the penalty that takes away a long touchdown run of your own, you talk about deflating. That's it right there.
That it really is. Let's go back to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. It's Clint and Riverside. Joe Rod on the call for this one. Joe, take it away.
2:20 left in the ball game, and it is Riverside leading the Clint Lions by the score of 42-7. A 6-play, 51-yard drive ended in a 15-yard quarterback keeper touchdown run by Angel Munoz, spinning his way into the end zone. One of the best runs of the night by the Riverside quarterback, who has run for 156 yards this game. And that's pretty much going to do it right now. The Clint Lions are 2nd and 1 at the Riverside 23-yard line, looking to get one more score before the night is over. With 1:45 left in the ball game, it is Riverside leading Clint by the score of 42-7.
Thank you so much, Joe. Appreciate that. Give us a call when your game is wrapped up, and we'll get right back out to you.
And this one from San Eli, 10:25 left in that contest. Mountain View shutting out San Eli 42-0 as they look for their first win in District 2 4A play.
Let's go back out to Coach Jaime Chavez. He has Isleta and Parkland. Last time we checked in on this one, it was the Matadors who led 49-8. Coach, give us the latest.
7:13 left in the fourth quarter. It is Parkland 49 and Isleta 8. Parkland quarterback Eric Ortiz, 5 touchdown passes, 3 of those to DC Daniels. Ortiz is 12 of 16, 215 yards passing, the 5 TDs and no interception. For Parkland, 18 carries, 238 yards rushing, touchdown runs of 73 and 43 yards. He also has an 18-yard touchdown reception. So we've got 6:42 left in the fourth quarter at Isleta's Hutchins Stadium. It's all Parkland. Parkland 49, Isleta 8.
Thank you so much, Jaime. Thanks for that update as we continue right here.
Halftime out of the sack. Our Alex Nicholas tells us 17-0 Montwood leading Pebble Hills.
Well, that's
halfway through that one.
Let's talk to him right now as he joins us for a halftime update. Alex Nicholas on the call. Montwood on top of Pebble Hills. A little bit of upset brewing out at the sack. Alex, give us the latest.
Yes, the Montwood defense was well prepared, probably has a great week of practice, and we're seeing the execution tonight as Montwood has forced 3 first-half turnovers. The first was a fumble recovery by Cameron Harrelson, then Devin Rojas with an interception, and then Harrelson, his second interception of the season. This one, a 29-yard pick six. That would happen at the 2:21 mark of the second quarter. He would step in front of a bubble pass here on the near side. Gael Ochoa struggling this evening, at least throwing the ball, that is. Let's look at some halftime stats. Not much to talk about in terms of the stats. Looking at Montwood, 8 first-half first downs. Montwood with 145 total yards of offense. Kevin Melendez, 6 of 9 passing, 30 yards and a touchdown. Melendez on the ground, 9 carries, 52 yards. It's a by-committee approach in the running back game for Montwood, and Montwood having some success, at least efficiently, 20 carries, 115 rushing yards for the Rams, who've really been aided by their defense and also some positive field position for the offense. For Pebble Hills, just 106 yards of total offense, 6 first-half first downs. Gael Ochoa, 2 of 7 passing, 7 yards of passing, 2 interceptions. But he has been able to move the ball at least during the rushing game. 14 carries, 54 yards, but it has not been easy for this Pebble Hills offense. Tons of adjustments need to be made, particularly keeping the ball out of the hands of the Montwood defense, who, again, has 3 first-half turnovers. Also of note for that Pebble Hills offense, after one of Montwood's scores, Pebble Hills leading receiver Jaleel Bost went down. It appeared from my angle as he was running on a kickoff return, one of his teammates inadvertently ran into him, knocked him down. It was a left leg injury that I was looking through the binoculars here on the near sideline. He has yet to return, which is really a big cause of why you see just 7 passing yards for Pebble Hills in the first half. Halftime here at the SAC, and it's Montwood putting the upset alert siren on as they lead Pebble Hills 17-0.
Great stuff, Alex. Appreciate that as always. Seems like Gael Ochoa's biggest problem right now is just getting anything going through the air. They're getting stuff going on the ground, Paul, but just through the air is just not where it's happening.
Yeah, but really for them, the air game has been gravy. The roast beef has been Gael Ochoa from under center. I talked about them in America's a week or so back. It looked like a throwback to a 1930s game, like the old single wing, just direct snap, and whoever catches it, goes over the right side or over the left side. That's been their offense, and it's been successful. Ochoa, like his brother Sebastian, a pretty good runner, but actually a little bit quicker. Sebastian was shifty. This guy just has some speed, some quick, hard-cutting speed, and he's been difficult to bring down. So that's been the major weapon in their arsenal offensively. But it looks like none of it is available to him tonight. As flat as a pancake, Pebble Hills is.
We got another real-time update right now from Austin and Jefferson. Jeremy Karanko joins us to give us the latest. Jeremy, go right on ahead.
7:27 fourth quarter. Austin now 42 and Jefferson 19. In the blink of an eye, 2 touchdowns for Austin. We've mentioned the 64-yard Israel Luna run, and then, defensively on the first play, he picks off a pitch in midair. I have not seen that. I saw a viral video of a similar play, guys. Same thing. Speed off the left end, up and over Alcala, and he gets it, runs it in for the 30-yard killer, cherry on top, touchdown. Austin 42-19. Some news to bring to you. Alcala was coming off the sidelines and limping with his left leg, hurdled by 2 guys around him. So just moments ago, Jefferson in this ball game, riling high, and then unfortunately now it seems like all of the momentum is gone. Austin will pull this out, and Nathan Alcala will see if he can come back next week against a tough game against Andrus, but he does appear injured as of now. So 6:53 fourth quarter. It is now Austin 42 and Jefferson 19.
And Adrian, remember the top weapon for the Austin Panthers, Jaden Wilson, suited up but injured hip issues, not playing in this one. And we mentioned it in pregame. Remember the last time this happened, third quarter against El Dorado, he couldn't play. Who rode to the rescue? Izzy Luna with a touchdown run with about 6 seconds left in the contest to beat El Dorado. And now who is it here putting the game away tonight? Izzy Luna, this time on the defensive side of the ball, interception return and a scoop and score.
It's an early favorite right now for a Taco Avocado top performer of the week. Just seeing what kind of impact Izzy Luna has in this one. Let's go out to Joey Panisi right now. Horizon and Hanks. It was a pretty lopsided game with the Scorpions heavily, beating the Hanks Knights in this one. 54-7 was the last score we got. Let's see if anything has changed. Joey, take it away.
Yeah, let's wrap it up from over here at Hanks Stadium, Excalibur Stadium. Jacob Quijas just took a knee around the clock out. Final score, Horizon 54, Hanks 14. Just summarizing it, once again, Jacob Quijas, the straw that stirs the drink, 7 passes, 105 yards, scoring his 13th TD. Ernie Garcia, what can we say? 13 carries, 192 yards. 4 touchdowns tonight. That gives him 22 touchdowns on the year. Just an amazing kid. Just some humor. I bragged to Paul about the kicker, Angel Simmental, from Horizon, making 11 in a row. And no sooner did I said that, he missed 2 in a row after that. so I shouldn't have said it. But what makes it so funny is that into the middle of the second quarter, he winds up coming out of nowhere and picking off a pass and running it back 40 yards for a pick six. So he made up for those 2 PATs that he missed. Bright spot for Hanks. Their final score was a 42-yard touchdown strike from Marcus Porras to James Montoya with 4:35 in the fourth quarter. Next week's the big showdown. Horizon goes into the game undefeated in district, as is Cañetillo. They will face off at Horizon for the district championship. Hanks, winless in district and 1 win on the year, will travel to Parkland to face the Parkland Matadors. So I'm wrapping it up here from Hanks Stadium. Final score, Horizon 54, Hanks 14.
And Adrian, I think the only thing that makes missing field goals funny is having a 54-14 lead and a 54-14 victory and being undefeated in your district and having Cañetillo circled on your calendar next week at Horizon for the district championship.
That's going to be a great game, Paul. I mean, I've counted out the Scorpions in many games week after week. They've proven me wrong. Paulo Melendez, Isaiah Quijas, and now Ernie Garcia. I mean, they've just got some great players out there for Horizon.
They've stubbed their toe a few times. Esleta beat these guys 35-34 like week 3, week 4, and you figured, okay, that's who Horizon is. But somewhere about 4 weeks ago, they just flipped the switch. And we've talked about it, these last several weeks. It's the Quijas kid, the quarterback. He's stepped up his game. Ernie Garcia, he's been a constant. Long runs, lots of touchdowns, 400-yard game to beat Bowie. Who knows how many touchdowns? 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, I don't know. Let's say 6. He's been there, but Quijas has turned up his game about 60%, and he's become the performer that his older brother was a few years ago when he carried this Horizon team into the playoffs. As Quijas goes, I think this Horizon team goes. Joey said it tonight, and I think he's right.
Yeah, you're most definitely right on that. Hey, we've got a wrap up out at our Cisco Movers game of the week with Riverside and Clint. Joe Rod joins us next to give us a wrap on this one. Joe, take it away.
All done from Riverfront Stadium on the campus of Riverside High School, where the Riverside Rangers have defeated the Clint Lions by the score of 42-7, picking up a District 1-4A championship. It was all Rangers in this one as they just kind of maintained and monitored the lead in the second half, adding a couple of touchdowns to their efforts. The Riverside Rangers had 22 first downs in this game. They carried the ball 35 times for 335 yards. Meanwhile, quarterback Angel Munoz was a very efficient 12 for 16, 192 yards, and he did have 1 touchdown pass for a grand total of 527 offensive yards for the Riverside Rangers. They did have 8 penalties for 85 yards over the course of the entire game. It's going to be a difficult choice here to see who was the man of the match or the player of the game for this game, as Jose Guardado, he carried the ball 14 times for 95 yards. He did have 3 touchdowns tonight, but Angel Munoz, like I said, not only did he have 192 yards through the air, 12 of 16 and a touchdown pass, but he also carried the ball 15 times for 156 yards and a touchdown. Angel Munoz definitely getting it done in all of the aspects offensively for the Riverside Rangers. What's next for this team? Well, how about a little rest, as next week, the final week of the regular season, is their bye week. This team has played for 10 consecutive weeks in a row, a rather impressive streak for Gary Recorder and his team that have not had a bye week over the course of the regular season. Meanwhile, the Clint Lions will host the San Elizario Eagles in their regular season finale. That's all I got for you out here at Riverfront Stadium on the campus of Riverside High School. It was quite a performance by the Riverside Rangers. They showed why they are the champions in District 1-4A tonight, defeating the Clint Lions by the score of 42-7.
Fantastic stuff, Joe. Appreciate the stuff, and we will see you out at Union Draft House coming up next.
Best player in the best player in the best game, Angel Munoz, no doubt about that. You heard his stats. Your buddy Steve Kaplowitz, he was talking about possible Coach of the Year nominees on the season. Well, Gary Ricotta, Riverside, 9-1, first district title since 2005. Yeah, he's got a pretty good shot. Good shot at consideration. And how about our man Joe Rod out there letting his soccer roots come out? Man of the match? Is that what I heard?
Yes, he did.
Man of the match, Angel Munoz.
Hey, big shout out to Union Draft House, our post-game location after every edition of Football Friday Night. They've got 3 locations across El Paso. West at the Cimarron Plaza, east at Tierra Este, and now their newest location near Sunland Park Mall, and that's the Union Draft House. Come join us after the game, and we'll talk some high school football with you here at the Sunland Park location. We're going to take a timeout right now. When we come back, more recaps, more final scores to get to, and a score rundown as well as we continue here for Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, welcome back to Football Friday Night Halloween edition. We're throwing some Conjuring 2, The Crooked Man Rhyme. Angel Munoz, have you ever seen The Conjuring 2? Our Angel Munoz.
I've seen the first Conjuring.
Okay.
It's not the second one.
Yeah, I can't say this one rings a bell for me right here, but I remember the song. This is pretty cryptic.
Was that the one with the witch and the flying houses and the house lands on that lady?
You're the horror buff, not our film buff, Angel Munoz. It's Paul McKinnon.
No, I was doing Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay.
1940s, I think.
I was gonna say,
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog.
Oh man, I can't do this. This is great. The final scores across the board across the city of El Paso. Let's run it down. Chapin defeats El Dorado yesterday, 48-7. Eastlake also beats out Socorro 43-20 in 1-6A. Speaking of 1-6A, earlier today out at the SAC, Franklin beat out America's 25-21 in a come from behind victory for the Cougars to maintain a perfect district record. Horizon beat out Hanks 54-14. You just heard that from Joey Panisi. That one went final. Our Cisco Movers game of the week, Riverside topping Clint 42-7. Also Andress with a 72-8 victory over El Paso. That one just went final. Speaking of just went final, Burgess beating out Irvin 54-20 in that same district. Las Cruces beating out Oregon Mountain 49-13. Santa Teresa with a 41-zip victory over Chaparral, and Crane beating Tornillo 62-0. Let's get over to some other scores that are going on right now. Austin with a 42-19 lead over Jefferson. Parkland all over Isleta 49-8 at the half out at the SAC. Montwood, upset alert, Montwood up 17-0 against Pebble Hills. We'll get an update from Alex Nicolas coming up here in a little bit. J.D. Sursley has Del Valle and Bel Air, and last we checked, the Conquistadores were up 35-7. We'll get an update from J.D. as well. More scoring updates to get to from right now. Actually, I'll just throw it to you, Paul. Our out-of-town scores, any other scoring updates to get to as well?
I love it when you ask me questions that I don't have an answer to. I can give you the same scores I gave you about 20 minutes ago. If it makes you feel better, I'm actually looking at the moment. A lot of those scores are going to be important when we start talking playoffs. I think we're going to be talking a lot of playoffs with that SAC game just starting to enter the third quarter.
Our out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Longhorn Distributing, the only hot seat dealer in West Texas and Southern New Mexico. Your source for cleaning equipment, service, and supplies. Longhorn Distributing, located at 5516 East Paisano Drive in El Paso. Let's go out to Brandon the Iceman Cone, a final out for Eastwood and Coronado. Brandon, give us the wrap.
I don't know what's scarier, you guys talking about horror movies or somebody doing that horrible impression of the Wicked Witch of the West or whoever it is. We have a final at Quarlesbrook Stadium here. Eastwood 41-19. Eastwood moves to 5-4 in the year, 3-3 in District 1-6A. They'll conclude their season against America's big game on the 5th of November. Quarterback Andrew Martinez, talk about big games, 19 of 28, 200 yards, 5 touchdowns. He did it have an interception and a fumble. Also 6 carries, 107 yards on the ground. Running back Samuel Lopez, 27 carries, 172 yards, 1 touchdown. Wideout Curtis Murillo, 8 receptions, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. And wideout Michael Caldera, 7 receptions, 62 yards, 3 touchdowns. Coronado falls to 1-8, 1-5 now in District 1-6A. They'll conclude their season at the Sacs next week at Eastlake on the 4th of November. Quarterback Blake Randak, 16 of 27, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Running back Diego Rentana, 9 carries, 44 yards, 1 touchdown. Wideout Cade Little, 6 receptions, 28 yards, a touchdown, and an interception as a defensive back. Great game all around for him. Running back / wideout Ricky Lozano, 6 carries, 26 yards. And finally, wide receiver Harrison Tomlin Morgan had a touchdown reception. It's a final from far west El Paso as Coronado falls to Eastwood. It's Eastwood 41-19 over the T-Birds.
Great stuff, Brandon. We'll see you out at the Union Draft House, and I appreciate the coverage as always, Brandon, as we continue here on Football Friday Night. Eastwood winning this week, and they've got the big 1-6A matchup next week against Americas, Paul. That's a big thing.
Yeah, it will be for that 4th and final playoff spot. And you know, the game next week looked like Franklin Pebble Hills. If Pebble Hills can't hold up their end of the bargain and find a way to rally against Montwood, looked like defeated Montwood from a week ago. They looked hapless and ready for the season end. Wow, they really showed up tonight. Pebble Hills apparently is not. And that Franklin Pebble Hills game, I mean, disappears. It's just another game if Pebble Hills is not 5-1 in the district going into that one. As you said, the game that'll be the game, America's at Eastwood for the 4th and final playoff spot.
Right now, we've got another game in the books. It's Parkland and Isleta. Let's go out to Jaime Chavez to give us one last game wrap-up. Again, the Matadors defeated the Indians. Jaime, take it away.
It's a final from Hutchins Stadium. Parkland 49, Isleta 8. Parkland quarterback Eric Ortiz. 5 touchdown passes. 3 of those to D.C. Daniels for 38, 28, 39, 28, and 23 yards. He also threw a 35-yard touchdown pass to Fernando Ruan and an 18-yard touchdown pass to Isaiah Beasley. Ortiz, 12 of 16 tonight. And for 12 of 16, 215 yards passing and no interceptions. Isaiah Beasley, strong on the ground this evening, 238 yards rushing, 18 carries, and touchdown runs of 73 and 43 yards in the third quarter. And the teammate Anthony Carrillo had 9 carries for 80 yards rushing. Isleta quarterback Damien Contreras, he struggled tonight. He threw a 23-yard touchdown pass to Andres Martinez, and that was Isleta's only score. Contreras, 12 of 36, 229 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. Parkland, they're 2-7 overall and 1-2 in district, and they'll host Hanks next week in their season finale. Isleta, they'll finish their regular season tonight at 4-6 and 1-3 in district. So the final once again from Isleta's Hutchins Stadium. Parkland 49, Isleta 8.
Appreciate it, Jaime. We'll see you out at the Union Draft House after the game, our post-game hangout stop, and that is Union Draft House near Sunland Park. Again, that was a finale. Parkland beating out Isleta 49-8. Let's jump out to Jeremy Karanko, get a wrap for Austin and Jefferson. This one had, this one got interesting in the second half, but the Panthers able to separate themselves and get the victory. Jeremy, give us the wrap-up and let us know how this one ended up.
Yeah, final here at Silver Fox Stadium. Austin finishes off Jeff 42-19, and the score does not really reflect how close this game was late. It was a 28-0 Austin lead at halftime. Jefferson missed an opportunity before the half, but they found some more magic late in the third quarter and early fourth quarter. Nathan Alcala started to light up a 12-yard touchdown run and a 20-yard touchdown pass to Dylan Navarro. That brought us to the end of the third quarter. They trailed 28-13, and then that was off 2 fumbles. How about another touchdown off a fumble? Nathan Alcala finds Roman Gomez for an 18-yard touchdown. It's 28-19. And then Austin, 1 play later, Ezra Luna, the hero for the Panthers. It's such a story for this team right now. Finding magic late from him, a 64-yard touchdown run, and then the cherry on top, an interception return 30 yards off a pitch from Alcala. And that's where we ended up, 42-19, the final. Total yardage for the Austin Panthers, 290. Not really explosive, but just plays after turnovers, plays at big moments. led this team to a win. Reinforcements is also the name of this team right now. Israel Luna and Sean Rodriguez taking over. Israel Luna, 102 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Sean Rodriguez, 121 and 2 touchdowns that came in the first half. And then for Jefferson, led by Alcala, 3 touchdowns in total, 1 through the air, 2 Roman Gomez, and 1 on the ground. 2 on the ground, should I say, for 76 yards on 7 carries. But, guys, he was limping off the field at the end of this game, and they do face probably, I think, the best team in District 2-5A next week against Andrus. We'll see if they can make up some magic there. So, guys, it's a final 42-19. Austin defeats Jeff, and next week it's a big game for Austin. They will host Bowie to see if they can stay atop the district with Andrus and Burgess, all 4-1 guys in district. It's going to be a great finish in this one. Jefferson is at Andrus. That'll be an interesting game, see if they can find other options and make it a close one. So a final here at Silver Fox Stadium. It is a final Austin 42 and Jefferson 19.
And Adrian, here's the good news for the Jefferson Silver Foxes. Of course, the bad is you were in a 4-way tie, and you lost to one of those people you were tied with, and you dropped to 3-2. So they go from first place to fourth place in a matter of about two and a half hours. The good news is because El Paso was hammered tonight by the Andrus Eagles, they fall to 2-3. The Jefferson Silver Foxes, with their loss, actually clinched the 4th and final playoff spot in District 2-5A. Those 4 teams, Andrus, Burgess, Austin, and Jeff, not necessarily in that order, are all set.
I love it. Hey, we'll talk some playoff implications in just a little bit. We're going to go to Alex Nicolas. Then we're going to go and get a wrap from J.D. Sursley from Del Valle and Bel Air. Alex will then stay on hold with us. We'll keep him on with us just in case things get hot out at the SAC. It is Montwood and Pebble Hills. Last time we checked, the Rams were all over the Spartans, 17-0. Let's see if things have changed. Second half is underway out at the SAC. Alex, take it away.
You did.
Looks like we got actually that probably was JD. Let's go back to Alex. That's my fault on that one. Alex, take it away, my man.
10:32 left here in the third quarter, and the narrative remains the same. Score remains the same, 17-0. Actually, hot action. We have a pass in the end zone, tipped incomplete. Sorry about that. I thought that may be a touchdown. The receiver broke behind the defense, but a great recovery there. So 10:27 left in the third quarter. Montwood leading Pebble Hills 17-0. Pebble Hills would start with the ball in the second half, but on a third down play, Gael Ochoa would be sacked. He would fumble, and then another big play. We've seen 2 big players make 2 big plays, and Devin Rojas with a fumble recovery, and Montwood starts at the 17-yard line, and now Montwood appears to fumble. The ball is loose, and it's going to be no word yet, but we have another fumble, and it's going to be Montwood football. So the team's trade turnovers to start the third quarter. 10:18 left in the third quarter. Montwood 17, Pebble Hills nothing.
Stay with us, Alex, as we hang on with you. We're gonna run down some scores after JD, and then we'll pitch it back out to you to see how this one continues. But let's go out to JD Sursley. It's a final out with Del Valle and Bel Air. JD, take it away.
Yeah, game over. Del Valle 42, Bel Air 7. It was definitely a team commitment game today. No one flashy, no one really over 100 yards. But, Bel Air's turnovers and penalties always set them back. So Del Valle actually didn't have to go very far at the start of their drives most of the time. It started off sluggish, 14-0 at halftime, but Del Valle, pulled things together. And Jesse Ramos, Sean Ramos, Eli Molina, Dominic Calderon, Juan Archuleta, and Christian Martinez definitely carried that team. To make it 42-7, have to give kudos to Jason Smith with Bel Air's only touchdown. It was a 5-yard run. But, Del Valle kept chipping and chopping. And, great thing about a lumberjack, get to the thickest tree. If it's not going your way, you keep chipping and chopping, and that's what they did. And eventually they broke through and they started dominating this game. Football fans alike, lick your chops because next week you got Del Valle and Chapin. And Chapin marked that counter because Del Valle bested them last year in the division, so they're definitely ready for that one. Del Valle 42, Bel Air 7.
Appreciate it, JD. We'll see you out at the Union Draft House. Again, Del Valle defeating Bel Air 42-7. It sets up a district showdown next week against the Chapin Huskies. Appreciate that, JD. Thanks for all the coverage today. Let's run down some final scores as we got them right now. Earlier today out at the SAC, the Franklin Cougars maintained their unbeaten streak in district play with a 25-21 victory over Americas. Horizon gets a 54-14 victory over Hanks, which sets up an amazing showdown next week against Canutillo. They host them at home next week. The Scorpions do. Riverside with a 42-7 victory over Clint in our Cisco Movers game of the week out of 1-4A to win that district as well. Andress defeating El Paso 72-8. Burgess with a 54-20 victory over Irvin. You got Eastwood beating Coronado today 41-19. Parkland getting a 49-8 victory over Isleta. Austin beating out Jefferson 42-19. Also a final, Del Valle beating Bel Air, just like you heard from J.D. Sursley, 42-7. Let's go over to some out-of-town scores. Las Cruces beating out Oregon Mountain 49-13. Santa Teresa beating out Chaparral 41-zip. Crane with a 62-0 victory over Tornillo. And one other game going on right now, it's Mountain View with a 55-14 lead over San Eli. Let's go over to our out-of-town scores right now. Paul, take it away.
On to Central Texas in District 2-6A, Midland Legacy 55-14 all over San Angelo Central. Legacy moves to 5-0 in the district, 8-1 on the season. First place, just a game ahead of Odessa Permian, who they finish up with in a week that will be at Grande Communications. Permian going to Midland for that big finale. Central falls to 4-5, 2-3 in the district. Remember, one of those wins was a forfeit. Abilene beats Midland 42-28. Abilene also in the hunt for that 2 seed if Legacy knocks out Permian. Abilene beat Permian to open the District 2-6A season. Well, they win again tonight. 42-28. They take out Midland High, move to 6-3, 4-1 in the district. Midland not going to make the playoffs this year. 2-7, 1-4. Mentioned Friendship get their first win of the season, 60 of the district season, 63-41 over Odessa High. They moved to 4-5, 1-4 in the district. Of course, could have been 2-3 if not for that forfeit to Central, and it'd still be in this playoff hunt. Odessa falls to 3-7. They're done for the year, 1-5 in the district season. To Super 2-5A, Lubbock Coronado takes down Lubbock Monterey 41-27. They moved to 5-4, 4-1 in that district. Second place, Lubbock Coronado is Monterey. A disappointing 2021, 3-6, 1-4. No playoffs for Lubbock Monterey. Amarillo Paladuro, last score we had. This is the only non-final. Paladuro Caprock 14-13. That was a third quarter score. Paladuro looking to get to 2-3. Caprock at 1-4. And Amarillo High all over Lubbock in a Thursday nighter, 59-7. Amarillo finishes the season at 8-2, 5-1 in the district. Remember the one idle team, the Beast, Amarillo Tascosa, undefeated, and they'll finish up next week. So you have them sitting at 5-0, looking to go to 6-0 next week. Amarillo's at 5-1, looking a lot like the 2 seed. Lubbock Coronado won tonight, sitting at 4-1. They could be the 3. And maybe I eliminated Monterey prematurely because there's a bunch of 1-4, 1-4, possibly 2-4. Yeah, we'll see what happens next week. But anyway, I think we have our 3 seeds coming out of Super District 2-5A, and they are super, especially compared to our Super 1-5A this year. District 3-5A, Lubbock Cooper, they're going to win their, I think it's 3rd straight District 3-5A title. 38-10, they beat Abilene Wiley tonight, moved to 8-1 on the year, 4-0 on the season. Elsewhere, Wichita Falls Rider, their lone stumble was to that Cooper team. 45-23, they take care of Kenyon Randall in a battle of 2-1 district teams. Ryder, of course, moves to 3-1, 2nd seed in that district. Randall falls to 2-2, still good enough to hold the 3 seed. Wiley falls to 1-3. Elsewhere, Wichita Falls moves into the 4 spot with a 56-35 win over Plainview. Plainview 1-8 on the year. Wichita Falls now 3-6, 2-2 in the district, and now to District 2-4A, where there's always hot action. The top seed and defending district champs Fort Stockton went to Big Spring. The Steers, a nice team this season, and boy, they proved it tonight, but not as much as they'd like. 29-28, Fort Stockton holds them off, moves to 8-1 on the year, 2-0 in the district. They'll have a chance to claim their second straight title next week when they finish up with Andrews. Andrews got their first win in the district. 45-24, they take care of Lakeview. They moved to 2-7, 1-1. So Fort Stockton, your 1 seed. Big Spring still can be considered the 2 seed over how they hammered Andrews a week ago. Andrews goes into the 3 seed, and the Lakeview will be the 4. And, of course, they'll be playing our 1-4As, Riverside, Clint, Fabens, and whoever I'm leaving out, not necessarily in that order.
I love it. I love it, Paul. Great stuff right there. Hey, again, thanks to Longhorn Distributing for bringing us our out-of-town scoreboard each and every week. The only hot seat dealer in West Texas and southern New Mexico, and your source for cleaning equipment, service, and supplies. Longhorn Distributing, located at 5516 East Paisano Drive, right here in the city of El Paso. We've got just one game going on right now. Montwood on top of Pebble Hills, 17-0. Montwood's defense has been impressive with some takeaways, also some takeaways on the Pebble Hill side in the second half. We'll bring Alex Nicolas up after our break. Let's take a timeout right now. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, welcome back. Halloween edition of Football Friday Night. Looks like we've got some hot action out at the SAC. Let's join Alex Nicolas for another update. Montwood and Pebble Hills. Man, this one's starting to get out of hand. Let's join Alex as we continue here on Football Friday Night. Alex, give us the latest.
4:12 left in the third quarter. Montwood 24, Pebble Hills nothing. Our latest score came through the air. It would cap off a 6-play 75-yard drive with Kevin Melendez finding Isaiah Coronado from 35 yards out. Next possession here, we almost had a second pick six by Cameron Harrison. Harrison dropped the money here on the near side, and Pebble Hills on the second down picks up 7 yards here with 4:05 left in the third quarter, and Pebble Hills trailing Montwood 24-0, and they will face a third down and short here on a very, very crucial possession here for the Spartans.
Wow, Alex. I appreciate that. I appreciate that right there, man. Hang with us as we continue. Let's see if we can pop right back out to you. But Montwood, all over Pebble Hills in this one. I didn't see this one coming at all, Paul.
I've seen Montwood a couple of times in the last month. I really didn't see this one coming. And the biggest takeaway from this is for those Franklin Cougars, they're going to automatically clinch the 1 seed if Montwood is able to hold up Pebble Hills. The reason, Franklin's 5-0, Eastlake is 4-1. But head-to-head, Franklin did beat Eastlake, so they would be the 1 seed. And they will be the big school 1 seed. Remember, District 6A is different than all the other districts. You take the 4 top teams going to the playoffs. The 2 most densely attended schools, the ones with the most attendance, they go to the big school playoffs, regardless of what place they finish 1 through 4. And the other 2 go to the small school. Franklin will go to the big. And they will be the 1 seed if Montwood's able to hold up Pebble Hills here tonight. And by the way, we'll get to host a by-district playoff game.
Wow, that's amazing right there. Appreciate that, Paul. And we'll get back to Alex in just a little bit. Let's run down our scores from today. Chapin beats El Dorado yesterday, 48-7. Eastlake with a 43-20 victory over Socorro last night. From earlier today, out at the SAC, Franklin beating out Americas 25-21 in a come-from-behind victory for the Cougars. Horizon topping Hanks 54-14. No trouble there for the Scorpions. Riverside, speaking of no trouble in our Cisco Movers game of the week, no trouble for the Riverside Rangers. They defeat Clint 42-7 to get that 1-4A district title. Andress beating out El Paso 72-8 from earlier today. Also, Burgess topping Irvin 54-20. Eastwood all over Coronado 41-19. Parkland with a 49-8 victory over Isleta for their first win in district play. Austin beating out Jefferson 42-19 despite no Jaden Wilson, or a limited Jaden Wilson, as I should say. Del Valle beats out Bel Air 42-7, and then Mountain View topping Sanelli, 55-14. That's a final as well. A couple final scores from out of town. Las Cruces beating out Oregon Mountain 49-13. Santa Teresa with a 41-0 victory over Chaparral. And Crane beating out Tornillo 62-zip. Paul, let's talk some playoff outlook. Let's start off with 1-6A. It all boils down to next week. We know Franklin's in there. We just talked about the Cougars right now as they improved to 7-2 on the year, 6-0 in 1-6A. Eastlake right behind them in second place. They are right now correct me. No, actually, they are 7-1. 4-1 in district play. I think I'm wrong on that. I think it's 5-1 in district play, 8-1 overall for the Falcons. Pebble Hill's right behind them in third place, along with Americas and Eastwood following. So you're really looking at the Trailblazers and Troopers next week as that big one to solidify that final spot in this district.
Yeah, and with Eastwood beating Coronado tonight, as we predicted, well, not predicted, we saw this coming at least a couple of weeks ago. It's going to come down to Americas and Eastwood for that fourth and final playoff spot at Eastwood Trooper Stadium. Winner take all. Both teams 3-3 in the district. Americas now 3-6 on the season. Eastwood just improved to 5-4 with Coronado's a final. I don't want to call it a win if it's not a win yet. That's a final. Eastwood beat Coronado, so they're 5-4 on the season. And this is what it means to the district. And it has to do with the big school, small school stuff we were just speaking about. Eastwood is what you would consider a small school, not as highly attended as a Franklin. Eastlake is also considered a small school. Americas would be considered a big school. So if Americas beats Eastwood, they will become the second big school. So they will follow Franklin to the big school playoffs, and that would allow Pebble Hills and Eastlake to compete as small school participants. If Eastwood beats Americas, which teams like Pebble Hills are probably rooting against, although they have all they can worry about right now with the Montwood Rams out at Socorro. But if Eastwood gets into the playoffs, they would be a small school participant. So as Franklin would still be the one seed in the big school, then Pebble Hills would also go to the big school playoffs, as opposed to if Americas goes, they would go to the small school. Pebble Hills would be the 2 seed in the big school playoffs. Eastlake, of course, would still be the 1 seed in the small school. I believe they're the smallest attended school. They just barely crept into 6A this last redistricting. So Eastlake would be the number 1 in the small, and Eastwood would then be the number 2 in the small. So, a little thing, Americas and Eastwood, okay, one of them's going to get in the playoffs, one of them's not, but causes a little bit of turmoil for some of the other teams in the playoff hunt.
How important is it? Now switching over to Super 5A. We'll talk Del Valle Chapin in just a second, but how important is it for El Dorado to get that victory over Bel Air when we're talking about playoff implications?
That is such a great question. It is supremely important because the loser of that contest gets the beast, Amarillo Tascosa. Yeah, they made it all the way to the regional finals a couple of years back, but they are just manhandling teams this year. Although I'm not sure Amarillo is that much of a better go. Gave Tascosa a pretty good game. The only team in that district that did. But boy, you really not only do you get Tascosa, but you get Tascosa. Assuming they win, I would put my money on that one if I were a gambling man. But not only do you get Tascosa, but you get them at their place. That's a double jeopardy if I ever heard it.
Let's talk Del Valle Chapin. Give me the case for Chapin, Paul. I mean, I feel like the Huskies have the momentum right now. Del Valle is still a very stout team. I'm not discounting them at all in this one. I just feel like it's a great clash. We thought this was a singular district with just Del Valle and everybody else, but no, that's not the case. The Chapin Huskies, they're in this.
Yeah, I think you've made the case, and I think you've made it well tonight. You keep talking about the 6 straight wins and how they're playing. The offense has exploded, and more specifically, the passing game has exploded. The Rivera kid, the sophomore, has really come to life. He was a second banana for a while behind Timothy Pastron, but really come into his own, had a huge game a couple of weeks ago. And even last week, I said on the defensive side, 4 interceptions. Nobody's had more than that in a game this season in El Paso. So they really are playing their best ball at the right time. If I was going to find a negative, I would point to the running game. Jacob Williamson, he's the pounder, but really a pounder in a different style of attack. They were trying to ground the football. That's not what they do best now. Williamson, I think, almost an afterthought coming back from his injury, the foot injury. But Mason Standifer, terrific quarterback, nice footwork, really throwing a good ball, but not really a threat in the running game as opposed to a guy like, Riverside's Angel Munoz, who ran for more than 1,000 yards this year. You're not worried about Standifer as a runner. I don't know if you're really worried about the Chapin running game at all. So if there's a negative, maybe you could say of a dimension. A lot of good receivers running around, including Standifer's little brother, Hunter.
Before we get to 1-5A, we got a scoring update out at the SAC. Let's rejoin Alex Nicolas. It seems like Pebble Hills is now on the board. Let's get the latest from Alex Nicolas out at the SAC. Alex, take it away.
1 minute and running left here in the third quarter, and it's Montwood 24, Pebble Hills 8. After that lengthy drive by Montwood, Pebble Hills would get one going. It'd be a 7-play, 75-yard drive. Gail Ochoa with a 7-yard touchdown run. Sevens are abundance on that one. He would run into 2-point conversion on the very next play, and that is where we are at now. 45 seconds to go. Montwood's actually behind the sticks. I know they were behind the sticks, but Kevin Melendez was able to scramble and face a 3rd down and 7. Just like Paul mentioned, Pebble Hills on that last drive kind of went with an old wing, single wing. Ochoa left. They would run a little bit of jet sweep motion. Ochoa right off of that. Ochoa left. He has 27 carries, 90 yards, a touchdown on the ground, but he's 2 of 9 passing for 7 yards. As Melendez here on a 3rd down play swings it out to his back to the far side, and he's going to be brought down short of the 1st down, maybe about a 5-6 yard pickup. So Pebble Hills with an opportunity to get the ball here. The third quarter should run down. That should be the final play of the third quarter, with Montwood leading Pebble Hills 24-8.
And Adrian, after the Pebble Hill score, they smartly go for 2. Mark Torres, the head coach out there, and of course, because 8 and 8 is 24, you're now back within 2 scores, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, and we're knotted and going into overtime and going maybe past midnight in this one. I hope you're ready out there, Alex.
I'm referring to you for the math because I graduated with a journalism degree, so I can't do any of that math. But good stuff there, Alex. Appreciate that. We got a game, 24-8, approaching the start of the fourth quarter. We'll stay with Alex for that one. Now moving over, we're talking some playoff implications right now. Moving over to 1-5A. Canutillo, Horizon, Isleta, Parkland, and Hanks. Let's start at the bottom of this one again. Next week we have Hanks and Parkland. What does this game mean for Isleta, Paul? Because I feel like after losing tonight to Parkland and dropping 3 in a row, are the Indians right now? Parkland, by the way, snapping a 4-game losing streak with the victory today. What does the Parkland-Hanks game mean for Isleta?
Yeah, you're right. Hanks pulling an upset over Parkland would be the worst thing that could happen to us to Isleta, because at 1-3, Hanks Parkland. I'm going by what Hanks Parkland is the finisher next week, right?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Okay. Thanks so much. Not looking at the schedule. Yeah. If Hanks finds a way to come back and beat surprise Parkland, and boy, it would be a surprise. All of a sudden, you would have Hanks at 1-3, Parkland at 1-3, and Isleta at the same 1-3. They're done for the season. 4-6 on the year. Isleta winds up. Yeah, I think they're done.
That's right.
Okay, good. Now looking at the schedule. So then you would have a 3-way tie, and you would go to the point differential. Isleta would have beaten Hanks. How much did they beat them by? With a maximum of 14 points, of course. If you beat a team by 28, you only get credit for a 14-point win. But how much did Isleta beat Hanks by? How much did Hanks beat Parkland by? Then you'd use the point differential to break that tie. As things sit, as long as Parkland takes care of business, and if they play anything like they did tonight in handling the Indians, Parkland will take care of business. That's the best thing Isleta could hope for, because that's their ticket into the playoffs. They have their one win. They beat the Hanks Knights, and that's all they're going to need to find the fourth and final playoff spot in District 1-5A.
What about the second place and first place spots in this one? Now, Canutillo has been amazing with an 8-1 record, unbeaten in district play. They take on Horizon on the road next week, who is now unbeaten as well. Paul, they have not lost a game in this district. This sets up for the 1-5A district finale and showdown out in Horizon. The Scorpions right now, they are 5-4 on the year, 3 3-0 in district play. What does second or first and second place mean in this district?
Well, yeah, it means who are you going to face in the other district, and of course we talked about the big dog being Tascosa out of that bunch. But we're in small 5A now. I think what it is bragging rights. Canutillo has one of those special teams that they get every 3 or 4 years, and I think they're ready to wrap it up and finish it off. Horizon is the young comer. I think the Horizon argument is the same argument you made for Chapin. Chapin's hot. Horizon's hot. They're winning, and they're winning handily, and they're feeling good about themselves. The one X factor is the venue. Canutillo's going out to Horizon. Of course, they're in the same district, so they make that trip every other year. But so maybe not such a big thing. But, I always think back on the Burgess Horizon bi-district game, Aaron Jones's junior season. A double overtimer. Mustangs found a way to pull it out, but just a team that seemed supremely more talented. And as we said, Aaron Jones, Alvin Jones really hadn't made his mark yet, but the brothers were still on that club. But as I said, double OT, and the Mustangs barely came out of that one with their lives. And I think the venue and the surroundings and the fan base had a lot to do with that. And I think it will again on Friday.
The Canutillo defense is what really impresses me. I mean, they have 7 sacks on the year, 22 quarterback hurries. They have 14 interceptions on the year, 4 fumbles that they've forced and recovered, along with 9 total forced fumbles on the year. So that defense is stout. And then, of course, offensively, you could just it starts and ends with L.J. Martin. I mean, on the year right now, 1,823 rushing yards. He has 20 touchdowns on the season. Next week has a chance to eclipse 2,000 rushing yards. And hey, Paul, he would join a really nice territory. Last time we see 2,000-plus rushers. You look at Aaron Dumas in 2019 with a 3,000-plus yard campaign. You look
Josh
at
Fields.
Yep, Josh
back-to-back
Fields.
years.
Well,
Deion Hankins,
I was
going to
say Deion Hankins for
Absolutely.
3 straight seasons.
Oof.
Right? I mean, 2016
Absolutely.
through 2019.
Yep.
So he joins an elite company if he's able to eclipse that 2,000-yard mark next week.
Absolutely right. And again, as a junior, you mentioned, wow, it's a big deal to go for 2,000. How many guys have done it back-to-back seasons? Well, the only way you get there is by getting the first one. L.J. Martin, as you said, 170-something yards away from 2,000. And, oh, by the way, these guys are going to be in the playoffs anyway. So I think you can book that double bill for L.J. Martin, whether it's next week or the week after that. Look at the playoff hunt, though. You mentioned what would a Canutillo win or a Horizon win mean? Well, after what happened tonight, Austin taking out Jefferson, it looks like Jefferson's going to wind up. It's not set in stone yet, but Jefferson at the moment, currently the 4 seed in District 2 5A. And again, we know the district champs have a chance to host. So a win for Canutillo or Horizon means we get to host a playoff game, and we're most likely hosting the Jefferson Silver Foxes.
That's great stuff right there. Let's keep it moving right now. Now let's go into the crazy one. Should we save it? Should we save it for the last one? Should we go 1-4A first? Let's start there. Let's start 1-4A. We'll finish out with the crazy one. 1-4A. It's claimed by the Riverside Rangers. We knew that after today. Let's start at the bottom of this district again. After the victory today by Mountain View over Sanelli, they might punch their ticket into the playoffs. Now, Fabens right now 1-2 on the season in district play. You have the Clint Lions who are 2-1 on the year, and of course the unbeaten Riverside Rangers at 4-0. What are your takeaways from this district right here, Paul?
Well, I always work from the bottom to the top, and with the Sanelli loss tonight, they're actually eliminated from the playoffs. And let me tell you why. They are 0-3 now in the district. Fabens and Mountain View only game up at 1-2, but the problem is both Fabens and Mountain View beat San Elizario. Sanelli finishes next week with Clint. That's going to be a tough road to hoe all in itself. Yeah. But even if Sanelli finds a way to surprise Clint next week, and Fabens and Mountain View drop to each drop, well, no, they finished with each other, so that's impossible anyway. Back to what I originally said, Sanelli.
Yeah.
Go ahead and beat Clint next week. Still don't have a chance. Not in the playoffs in 2020, but you were there in 2020. Knocked Fabens out of the playoff hunt. So, take joy in that and look forward to 2022. Riverside, obviously the 1 seed in the district. Clint currently sits as the 2 with Mountain View and Fabens behind. And as I said, they finish with each other next week. And what does that mean? Well, Riverside as the number 1 seed. In 4A, you don't get the host. These are all going to be neutral sites. But Riverside will likely get Lakeview, who sits at 0-2. As I said, Big Spring is the 2 seed, Fort Stockton the 1. So the bad news for the loser, that's what we always want to look at. Why do you not want to lose that Fabens Mountain View game? Well, if I'm Fabens or Mountain View, the reason I don't want to lose is because I don't want to see Big Spring. I believe it was Mountain View that already ran into them early in the season, and I think that was probably enough. Big Spring is tough. Andrews is a little softer this year. We're not used to seeing that. Andrews has usually been the beast, and in fact, when they were in 1-4A, they were the beast. Clint couldn't get past them. Why does Clint have 3 straight district titles? Well, until tonight, Riverside claiming the 1-4A crown because it's been 4 seasons since Andrews was in District 1-4A. But Andrews a down year. They're 2-6, actually 3-6 after the win tonight, and tied for the 2nd seed in that 2-4A district. But you don't want to see Fort Stockton. You don't want to see Andrews or Big Spring. And I think that Andrews is the lesser of those 2 evils. And, of course, Lakeview, 4th place, is already ticketed, I think, for Riverside.
Let's go back out to the SAC and join Alex Nicolas. Then we'll take a break. We'll wrap things up talking some 2-5A and a crazy, maddening district out there. But first, let's go out to Montwood and Pebble Hills. It's Alex Nicolas on the call. Alex, take it away. What's the latest?
8:47 left in the ball game. Montwood leading Pebble Hills 24-8. When you guys last left me, Montwood drive stalled. Pebble Hills would take over, but Pebble Hills just getting in their own way. They would penetrate across the 50-yard line, but 2 penalties would bring them back, plus a pre-snap penalty. So Pebble Hills was facing a 3rd down and 32 right now, but then it would be a big completion by Gael Ochoa, and that would put them at the 37-yard line facing a 4th down and 7. They're in plus territory with 8:47 left in the ball game, and Montwood leading Pebble Hills 24-8, but a key 4th down coming up here for Pebble Hills to try to keep their hopes alive late here in the 4th quarter.
Alex, let's stay with you right here. Let's do some play-by with this one. It seems like a huge 4th down right here. If Pebble Hills were to convert, maybe we've got a close ball game here late in this one.
Possible, as we did have a injury timeout, but the Montwood players being helped to the far sideline. So again, 4th down and 7, 8:47 left here in the ball game. Montwood leading Pebble Hills 24-8. It'll be a 4th down and 7. Ball will be on the near hash at the Montwood 37-yard line as Pebble Hills is driving from right to left on your radio dial. They'll come out of an empty formation. Gael Ochoa, the quarterback, 4 of 11 passing, 34 yards, but 28 carries for 78 yards. In motion comes Eric Marin. Montwood jumped offside. It's a free play. Ochoa rolls to his left, throws in the middle of the field, and it's a dangerous pass, and it's going to be caught inside the 15-yard line, waiting for an official call on that one, as it appeared that Diego Contreras made the catch. They're marking it at the 13-yard line of Montwood, so they are going to give him a 1st down. Wow, what a catch. It was like a bunch of white jerseys in the middle, and on the backside of that, Diego Contreras was just sitting there waiting, and they'll decline the penalty, and it'll be a 1st down and 10. They'll mark it at the 14-yard line, so Gael Ochoa with a big completion there. That puts Ochoa with his 5th completion of the ballgame. 1st down and 10 for Pebble Hills at the 14-yard line. Marin in motion again. Ochoa fakes to him, keeps left side, has space at the 5, and he's going to go in for a Pebble Hills touchdown from 14 yards out. That's the 2nd touchdown of the ballgame for Gael Ochoa. On the season for Ochoa, that would be his 17th rushing touchdown of the season as he came in tied 2nd in the district. 4 rushing touchdowns, and now Pebble Hills will go for 2. 8:32 left here in the 4th quarter. Montwood 24, Pebble Hills 14, and a very key 2-point conversion coming up. And I think if we were guessing right, this is probably going to be a Gael Ochoa run. They've been running that action where they'll run jet sweep motion, fake the read option. They know it's not coming off of that. And it's just a direct snap here to Ochoa going for the left side, but he's going to be trailed. Still fighting forward, lunges forward, and that's effort. Gael Ochoa putting the squad on his back up the left side. Looked like he was dead meat in the backfield. Looking for a number there for the Montwood player was Victor Flores, the nose guard, who shot the gap, and Ochoa been in that weight room, you could tell as he powers his way into the end zone. 8:32 left in the ballgame. Montwood 24, Pebble Hill 16.
All right, Alex, you stay with us on the line. We will let you collect yourself with some stats and catch up as well. But Paul, I'm glad we stayed up. This past 10:30 over here, but we got a great ball game.
Yeah, good things come to those who wait. And Alex talking about Gael Ochoa in the pile. You know how things are these days. Pushing is legal. Once somebody's held up, just those linemen get in there and start pushing and pushing and pushing. Not always that way. I can remember Reggie Bush getting in trouble for giving a little shove to the back of Matt Leinart and getting him into the end zone. Hey, he's cheating. He's helping the runner. That's a flag. Well, not anymore, my friends.
Well, the interesting thing for me is Gael Ochoa, 6'1" sophomore for Pebble Hills, has been pretty stout all year long. They use him in the passing game sometimes, but when he's not hot through the air, they'll just run him. They'll sell out on the run, and they'll just keep pounding it left and right. So I think that's a really good one right there. We've got Montwood leading Pebble Hills late in the fourth quarter, 24-16. Pebble Hills down by just one score. Let's take a timeout right now. When we come back, we'll rejoin Alex Nicolas out at the SAC. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, welcome back. Football Friday Night After Dark. It's the SAC After Dark, and it's another good game. First game was great. Franklin come from behind victory, 25-21 victory against Americas. This one is getting intense. An onside kick was attempted by Pebble Hills. Let's see if they were able to convert. Let's join Alex Nicolas live at the SAC. Last time we checked, Montwood led Pebble Hills 24-16. Let's see what happened here. Alex, take it away.
7:31 left in the ball game. Montwood 24, Pebble Hills 22. 2-point conversion by Gael Ochoa comes up just short of the goal line. Let's give you a reset on after that Pebble Hills touchdown to get within 8 points. They would attempt an onside, and I was taking Adrian's advice. I had my head down trying to gather some stats and some thoughts, and Pebble Hills would recover at the 27-yard line. 3 plays later, it would be a 16-yard run by Gael Ochoa that would set up a 5-yard run by Eric Marin, and then the 2-point conversion, they would go Ochoa up the right side, and he was just short of the goal line. So 7:31 left here in the fourth quarter. Montwood 24, Pebble Hills 22, and we do have an injury timeout on the field, fellas.
Wow. Let's hang with you, Alex. Hold on just with us for a second while we gather our thoughts. Yeah. So, Paul, Pebble Hills gets the onside recovery, and then they score right away. They didn't make the extra point, the 2-point conversion, but it might not matter because there's over 7 minutes to go left in this game. A lot of time left. They might score and win this one.
And your defense is trying to get a stop against a Montwood team that hasn't had a lot of weapons. I don't know how they controlled this game through 3 quarters, but last couple of times I've seen them, well, all you got to do is look at the quarterback, Kevin Melendez. He's running with the ball. And does he have anybody to throw to? Well, not really. Now that, the Oaxaca kid, Yamil, is not there. I know little brother Diego's on the field now. I'm not sure he's the same caliber of threat that big brother Diego is. But, not a lot of options for Montwood. But, boy, if they can put a drive together, few first downs, they can really save their season and walk away with a huge win that can, make them feel good about, not going to the playoffs.
I'm not trying to be, the guy who says everybody gets a trophy, but we're talking Coach of the Year, Mark Torres. I mean, hey, look at this turnaround for the Spartans and what they've been able to do. I'm not saying he's the guy at number 1 for this award, but he's definitely in the top 5, maybe top 7 of this list.
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't know, who thought Pebble Hills was going to make the playoffs this year. Not a playoff team a year ago, but actually a few more vets around. This is a young club. We're talking about Gael Ochoa, a sophomore quarterback. Remember, he got snaps last year as a freshman. In fact, he was battling with Jacob Ledesma for the starting quarterback job as early as the first couple of weeks of this season. I think by game 3 or game 4, they finally, and I say gave it to him, but they didn't really give it to him.
Right.
He earned it by making plays, and I think the Eastwood game was the big one. That's the one where they came back, drove the field late in the game. Gael Ochoa stuck it in, went for 2 when they could have kicked and tied it with seconds on the clock, and he knocked it into the end zone, and they came away with a big 1-point victory. And they've been off to the races ever since until tonight for about 3 quarters, but someone has relit that fuse, and Montwood has about 6 more minutes to put it out.
We've got a great one out at the SAC. Montwood leads Pebble Hills, narrow margin, 24-22, less than 7 to go. Let's go back to Alex Nicolas live at the SAC. Alex, take it away.
7:19 left in the second quarter, and the Pebble Hills defense is juiced. On a first down play, we'd have a pass breakup. Then on the second down play, they try to run sort of a wide quarterback keeper to the near side, and Pebble Hills was all over that one. That's going to be a loss of 1 for Kevin Melendez. I have Melendez 12 carries, 66 yards. He's 10 of 14 passing, 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the senior faces a key 3rd down 11 from his own 35-yard line. Ball on the near hash. Montwood driving left to right, going towards the south. Trips up top on the far side. Melendez back to pass. 3-step drop. Steps up in the pocket. Delivers in the middle of the field. And it's Diego Oaxaca at the 45. And then he fumbles. The ball is loose. And we have a scrum inside the 40-yard line. And it looks like the official is going to give it to Diego Oaxaca. Another big catch for Oaxaca.
Wow.
Big Montwood first down inside. They're going to mark it at the 37-yard line of Pebble Hills with 6:38 and a huge completion there for Kevin Melendez. Another big catch for Diego Oaxaca. It's going to be his 3rd catch of the ball game. If I get my stats here right, that would be 3 catches for 41 yards and a first down and 10 for Montwood in the middle of the field at the Pebble Hills 37-yard line. They go pistol formation. They're going to give it away right. This is Juan Macias Zamora. Bounces outside, trying to turn the corner and does. 30, near side, 25, 20, pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line, and another Montwood first down. And how about this kid, Juan Macias Zamora, 9 carries, 33 tough yards, add some there, and a huge gain. That's going to be 22 yards. So update on him would be 10 carries, 55 yards. First down for Montwood at the Pebble Hills 15-yard line, 6:12 left in the ball game, and Montwood holding on to a 24-22 lead over Pebble Hills, who's trying to keep their district title hopes alive. But it's first down and 10, Montwood 4 wide. They give it again to Macias Zamora going left side, pushing his way forward. He's going to, I thought they would give him the 10, but it looks like they're just going to give him the 13-yard line, so a 3-yard pickup, or excuse me, the 12-yard line, so a 3-yard pickup there for Juan Macias Zamora, and it'll bring up a second down and 7 here for Montwood. Under 6 minutes left here in the ball game. Right now, Montwood is 28 rushes, 161 yards on the ground. That's 5.7 yards per carry. Melendez is going to keep they ran a jet sweep action. Melendez held it as long as he could. Gets 4, not a bad pickup there. They're actually going to give him 4 there on the flow, and that'll bring up a 3rd down, very manageable 3rd down and 3 coming up for Montwood. The line to gain is the Pebble Hills 5-yard line. Looking at that Pebble Hills defensive line, starting to see some hands on the hips as this drive has really been extended here in Montwood. That was interesting how they started the drive with that incomplete pass, and then they went back to what's been working. Pretty much Melendez left, Melendez right, running that jet sweep action, very similar to what we're seeing from Pebble Hills. It's going to be a 3rd down and 3, ball on the near hash at the 8-yard line, receiver in motion to the left. They're going to sprint out Melendez to the left, drops back, going to reverse field, now throws a ball in the corner of the far side end zone, incomplete. Diego Oaxaca was there trying to do his best impression to get 2 feet down, but just out of his reach. And now a 4th down and 3, and Montwood probably in the yard. They're going to roll out Diego Ceballos to knock down a 42-yarder earlier in this game. If my math is correct, this will be about a 25-yarder from the near hash, and 4:55 to go here in the ball game. As the holder on this one will be Cesar Ramos, a senior cornerback, and it'll be off the right foot of Ceballos from 25 yards out. Snap.
No, we're losing Alex. Oh, man, I think we lost Alex right there. Let's see if we can get him right back. Alex, are you with us still? We dropped him. He'll call back in.
Adrian, Montwood opting for the field goal here, and there's I don't know. There's probably some people saying, come on, you got to go for this. Now, I think they're making the right choice. Make or miss, I mean, that's part of it. What kind of field goal kicker do you have? Well, Montwood has one of the better ones in the city. I think Alex said Ceballos. That's not. I believe that's Pebble's kicker. I get those guys confused myself. But if you have a decent kicker, I think this is the move to make. What you're doing is forcing the other guys to score a touchdown, as opposed to if you go for this, you give it up deep in your own territory, that would be the positive. But if they drive the field, all they need is a field goal. And Pebble does have a nice field goal kicker that can knock one through and beat you by a point.
Let's go back to Alex out at the SAC. Give us the latest, Alex.
Not sure if you guys caught the field goal call on that one, but Diego Zavallos did hit a 25-yard field goal.
There it is.
So 4:52 left here in the ball game. Montwood 27, Pebble Hills 22, and it'll be Zavallos to put it in the air. Very deep kickoff as we're going to get a fair catch inside the 5. Learned that this year that's actually a touchback, so Pebble Hills will start at their own 25-yard line.
Hate it.
4:52 left in the ball game. Montwood 27, Pebble Hills 22, and Pebble Hills with all 3 timeouts left.
All right, Alex, we're gonna take it back from you just for a little bit. We'll send it right back out to you in just a second. But what a game! What a game here, Paul. We had a interesting first game out at the SAC where Americas should have held on to that win and beat Franklin. The Cougars come from behind and they win in that game.
And now we have the exact same thing
in game 2.
Yeah, same thing.
Late kickoff. We were wondering, is this game going to go, all Montwood's way? No, not so fast. It's Pebble Hills who marches back into this one. They cut it to 2 points. They had a chance to tie it. I don't agree with the field goal. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Different
I don't.
strokes.
I think that you could try to punch it away and actually try to, convert on 4th down. If you don't make that, you give it to Pebble Hills deep in their own territory, make them march down the field instead of kicking it off to them with a 5-point lead.
And the real plus side is if you succeed and punch it into the end zone, all of a sudden you're up 2 scores again, and it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Back out to Alex, as right now Montwood leads Pebble Hills 27-22 with under 5 to go. Go ahead, Alex.
On a first play of the series, Ochoa goes to the left side for 16 yards, comes to the left side again, crosses the 45-yard line, his own 45, and he's hit out of bounds pretty hard at the 46. To see if the far side official does. I'll give him 5 more on that one. So 2nd down and 5 coming up for Pebble Hills and Gael Ochoa. Gael, 33 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's 5 of 12 passing, 57 yards, and 2 interceptions. 2nd down and 5 from his own 46-yard line. Ball in the near hash. They run the jet sweep action again, but it's Ochoa up the middle of the field, crosses the 50, gets the first down, and he's going to be brought down at the 45-yard line. Pickup of 9, and now Pebble Hills is in Montwood territory as the clock stops with 4:28 left here in the 4th quarter. Montwood leading Pebble Hills 27-22. Pebble Hills with all 3 timeouts, and they have a 1st down and 10 on the near hash, driving right to left at their own 45-yard line. Empty formation with a wing to the right. That's Jacob Ledesma. Actually, this is Ochoa out of the shotgun. It's going to be a quarterback design draw. Runs into the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Generous spot there. Stop to the line of scrimmage. Is 6'2" frame, I believe. Was able to kind of push his way there. Just a sophomore. We've seen kind of the muscle in this one. So a 2nd down and 9 coming up for the Pebble Hills Spartans, who come into this game 5-3, 4-1, pretty much all alone in 2nd place. Or it's actually not all alone in 2nd place, tied with Eastlake for that spot in the playoffs as they come out of a empty formation, the Ledesma in motion from right to left, and then a pre-snap penalty. Hadn't seen that. This was something that Pebble Hills was really struggling with early on in the game, and it's going to be another false start. So now Pebble Hills will be behind the sticks. They'll mark this one at their own 49-yard line. So a 2nd down and 14 coming up for the Spartans. 3:36 left in the 4th quarter. Montwood leading Pebble Hills 27-22, and Gael Ochoa facing a 2nd down and 14 from his own 49-yard line. They go empty again. This is the backup quarterback. Ledesma is the wing to the left. 2 receivers on each side of the formation. Receiver spread out on the far side. Marin comes in motion from right to left. Actually, that's Torres. They fake it to him, and Ochoa goes right up the gut, and he gets the 45-yard line, which would be the original line of scrimmage. So a 4-yard pickup, and now a 3rd down and 10 coming up for Pebble Hills at their own 45-yard line. The Montwood defense, one of their biggest playmakers, Devin Rojas, is putting his arms up to the far side, wants some noise, a huge 3rd down play coming up for both teams as we are under 3 minutes left here in the 4th quarter, and Montwood holding on to a 27-22 lead. 4th down and 10, wing to the right. Ochoa out of the backfield, out of the shotgun. They send Marin in motion from left to right, back to pass. Ochoa's going to bail, throws left, throws in the middle of the field. It's going to be intercepted on the near side, looking for a number there. What a catch, and there goes that man again. It's going to be Cameron Harrelson, his 2nd interception of the ball game, 3rd of the season. Another dagger by Montwood. 2:40 left in the 4th quarter.
Wow.
Montwood leading Pebble Hills 27-22.
What a game. What a doubleheader out at the SAC tonight. Thank you so much for that, Alex. Hang on with us. We'll send it right back out to you to see what's going on here. Wow, what a defensive play there by the Montwood Rams.
Yeah, without a doubt. If they hang on to this thing, we know who our defensive player of the night is.
Easily.
And Alex didn't mention it there, but don't forget Harrelson also with a fumble recovery. So 3 turnovers from Cam the man.
That's exactly right. Hey, Paul, let's ping back over as we wait for Alex over here. Let's ping back over to 2-5A, the crazy district as we're talking playoff outlooks right now. In this district right now, we've got 3 teams that are tied and locked in for that first place spot. It's Burgess, Austin, and Andress. This one is going, per sources, based on point differential instead of coin flips in this district right now. Paul, how does this one shake up?
Man, I'm glad you heard that. That's news to me. Otherwise, I would have already worked out the point differentials. Austin handled Burgess pretty easily. That was at least a couple of scores, so let's just ballpark guess at that one. I have it somewhere, but I'm not going to dig it out, at least not live at the moment. So let's say that was a 14-point game for Austin. We know that Burgess beat Andress by just a point. That was 35-34, and Andress handled Austin pretty easily as well. Let's call that one a 14-point. We're guessing at the moment. So Andress would have been plus 14 off the Austin win, and they would have lost a point on the Burgess loss. So Andress would be plus 13. Burgess would have lost by 14, so they're minus 14, and they got 1 point on the Andress victory, so they would be minus 13. Austin beat Burgess by, let's say, 14, so they're plus 14. Andress hammered Austin by 14 or more. They would be a net 0. So going point differential, you would say Andress comes out of that 3-way, assuming it finishes that way. They all win next week, finish 5-1. Andress would be the 1 seed. Then with the 2 remaining teams, Burgess and Austin, you would throw out the points and say, who beat who? And the answer to that would be, well, the Austin Panthers beat those Burgess Mustangs, of course, and Austin would be the 2 seed, and the Burgess Mustangs would be the 3.
I don't know how you did that in your head, but that was very impressive. Let's go right back.
And probably all wrong, but
let's go right back out to Alex out at the SAC. Alex, take it away.
2:22 left in the 4th quarter. Montwood leading Pebble Hills 27-22, and the Pebble Hills defense with a big stop. First down play, Montwood would try to run. It would get stopped for a minus loss. Second play, Montwood tried to extend the field. They would throw a deep pass in the middle of the field, looking for Diego Oaxaca. It would be broken up. And then on a 3rd down play, they would run a jet sweep on a 3rd down and 11. They would pick up about 5 yards on the play. So we have a timeout on the field. It's going to be a 4th down and 6 on the far hash from Montwood's own 42-yard line. Got to feel that there's going to be field position here. I don't know if Montwood is going to go for it. They're lining up. It looks like Melendez will come out of the shotgun. They're going to line up with 4 wide receivers. Pebble Hills is not dropping anyone back. Could see a quick pooch kick here. Let's see what Melendez does. He'll slide the running back Juan Macias Zamora to the left side. Running down the play clock, it's at 16, and then Coach Fama leaves you once a timeout. Wanted to see how they were going to line up there. So Coach Fama playing with a little bit of matchups here. 2:22 left in the 4th quarter. Montwood 27, Pebble Hills 22. Pebble Hills with 1 timeout left. Montwood just burned their 2nd timeout. Scoreboards should change, so each team should have 1 timeout. Over the final 2:22 of this ball game, and it's been Gael Ochoa 3 straight drives, ending in a touchdown run before the last one where they stopped. So Ochoa is at 36 carries, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 of 13 passing, 3 interceptions, 5 total turnovers for Montwood. So after the timeout, Montwood didn't really take the whole 30 seconds. They just ran out their punt team there. Not sure if it was a freeze play to get a 4th and short or just trying to see what Pebble Hills would do. So we'll have a punt as back to receive the punt for Pebble Hills is Robert Deal. He's in his own 25-yard line. This is a high punt. They're going to get away from it. It takes a Montwood bounce at the 35, rolls inside the 30, still rolling. Montwood players trying to fan the ball as it's still rolling inside the 25-yard line, and then it'll rest at the 24-yard line. 2:08 left here in the fourth quarter. Pebble Hills trailing Montwood 27-22. And for Gael Ochoa, he's been in this situation before. It takes me back a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago, Paul McKinnon, on that Eastwood game where he throws an interception, stops the guy at the 2-yard line, chases him down, and then the game-winning drive here. So even though it hasn't been a clean game for Gael Ochoa, a chance for redemption here as he starts his drive at his own 29-yard line. 2:08 left in the ball game. Pebble Hills with one timeout left, and Coach Mark Torres taking a little bit of extra time on the huddle here in the near side. They haven't blown the play, or they haven't wound the play clock yet. So some words of encouragement there for Mark Torres and his club as they come out with that single wing. It's to the right. That's Jacob Ledesma. Ochoa in the backfield by himself. Takes a snap. 5-step drop. He's going to bail. Scrambles to his left. Throws a bomb near side. Eric Marin's there. Oh, and he's tackled. That's an easy call for the officials. Joseph Cepeda was there in coverage. And Cepeda, surprised he didn't turn around and play the ball. Marin was behind him, but the throw was a little bit short. He could have just turned around, maybe even picked it and batted it down, but instead he immediately grabbed Eric Marin, who was, like I said, just behind him by maybe a yard or two. So a PI on that one. Big break here for Pebble Hills.
Wow, that is insane right there, and they're still in this. They're still in this, Paul.
Yeah, the key, though, is this is high school football. This is not the NFL. It's not a spot foul. It doesn't matter if he threw a bomb. Pass interference is still 15 yards. You enjoy the 15 yards, but it's not 40.
All right, back to you, Alex.
I think I missed a flag in the backfield. We may have what appears to be a hold, so we could have offsetting penalties here. Didn't see it. It was done by the umpires. Yes, we do have a holding on Pebble Hills, and then a pass interference. So those will offset and will replay first down there. So both teams didn't see the flag, was looking at it downfield. But like I mentioned, Ochoa sort of bailed to his left, so I'm sure it happened as he was bailing to his left. And then he did a good job of noticing where he was at. Right at the line of scrimmage, he fired. He actually had space to maybe get 7 close to the first down on the near side, but he decided to throw downfield. And nonetheless, it's first down and 10 for Pebble Hills. Marin in motion from left to right. Ochoa keeps it up the middle, gets the 25-yard line. Then he's tripped up to see if they're going to give him the 28, and they do. So a 4-yard pickup there for Gael Ochoa on first down as we are under 2 minutes to go. 1:48 and running here in the fourth quarter. Montwood holding on to a 27-22 lead over Pebble Hills. Ochoa out of the shotgun, fakes the read option on the jet sweep, gets to the 30-yard line, then he stood up and brought back. Oh, who is that Montwood defender? That kid's been getting the weight room. That was the kid that's had 2 interceptions in this ball game, Devin Rojas.
Wow,
from his
another play.
Linebacker stop, as there was space there for Ochoa, and this is going to bring up a 3rd down and 2, a very, very close to, or very short 2-yard line, or 2-yard gain as Ochoa keeps it near side. He's going to be wrapped up maybe short of the first down. As that, again, that was going to be Cameron Harrelson, the safety who stepped up. They're going to actually give him -1 on that one. So here's the ball game here. 4th down and about 3 from Pebble Hills' own 32.5-yard line. Surprised the official put it at the half mark here. Under a minute to go. Ball in the near hash. They bring a running back in the backfield. They fake it. Ochoa back to pass. Looking to throw. Has time. Scrambles to his right. Throws far side, and it's going to be complete and out of bounds just shy of the 45-yard line. And a big catch there for Brandon Sardenas of Pebble Hills, and that gives the Spartans a huge first down and some breathing room there. And it's going to be a 13-yard pickup. They'll mark it at the 44-yard line. 12-yard pickup, excuse me. So first down and 10. Clock stops momentarily. 41 seconds left. Actually, the clock stopped because he got out of bounds there on the far side. Excuse me. So 41 seconds, ball on the far hash at Pebble Hills' own 44-yard line. Wing to the left. 2 receivers on each side of the formation. Receiver comes in motion. That's Torres. He's going to keep it. Does Ochoa. Gets midfield. Going to be brought down right at midfield. I thought he'd maybe give him the plus 49, but then they stop him at the 50-yard line, and immediately Mark Torres will call a timeout after that 6-yard pickup by Gael Ochoa. 33 seconds left here in the ballgame. Montwood 27, Pebble Hills 22. Pebble Hills out of timeouts, gentlemen, so we're going to see them throw the ball. And like I mentioned, one of the biggest losses of this game, Jaleel Boss, one of their field stretchers, if you will, 23 catches, 449 yards, was out in the ball. He's out with an injury on a special teams play late in the second quarter. So decision time here for Mark Torres, facing a 2nd down and 4. You got to take a couple of shots here, guys. And like I said, they really don't have anybody to stretch the field. You're going to be looking at Marcus Torres. We saw Diego Contreras on this one. Decision time here for Mark Torres, guys.
Wow, this is a huge one right here. And when you're making this kind of decision, game on the line, I love it. I love that we're talking about a game like this, Paul.
Yeah, that's why high school football is just so much fun, and just sports in general. That's what makes movies. What a sweet ending! You don't have a clue what's going. You think and a lot of times what you think is going to happen happens, but then it's nights like this where nothing happens like the way you think it's going to, and that's what makes sports so special.
Back to Alex out here at the sack.
4, Ochoa back to pass, has plenty of time, throws in the middle field, has a receiver wide open. It's Cardenas again across the 30. They're going to give him the 29-yard line. That's a 32-yard pickup. Clock will stop. 26 seconds to go. It looks like Ochoa's running up to the line to clock it. He's going to take an under center snap, and then he clocks it. 1st down and 10, Pebble Hills at the 28-yard line. Oh, man, Brandon Cardenas, 2 huge guys. I can't emphasize that enough. A 4th down catch on the far sideline and gets out of bounds, and then he just gets in between the zone here. Looked like they were running maybe a cover 4, I believe. Wasn't really paying attention to the coverage, but he just went right in the middle of that zone, and Ochoa delivered a strike. 7 of 15 passing. That's 105 yards. Ochoa has completed 5 out of his last 6. 1st and 10 of his own, the Montwood 28-yard line. Ochoa, another bullet across the middle, right at the 1st down marker. It's caught, and is that Cardenas again? Yep, it is Cardenas again. They're going to mark it. Let's see, the far side officials right at the 1st down marker, so he will give him a 1st down. 21 seconds to go. Ball at the 18-yard line, and Ochoa will clock it again. Let me update those last 2 passing completions there. So 2nd down and 10 for Pebble Hills at the 17-yard line is where they'll mark it. Ball on the far hash. 20 seconds left in the ball game. Montwood 27, Pebble Hills 20. Let's see if the Spartans have one last prayer in them. 1st and 10 on the far sideline. Should be 2nd and 10, I believe. The box didn't change. Receiver comes in motion from right to left. Ochoa with a sprint out across his body. Throws. Has a receiver in the back of the end zone. Oh, it's tipped and broken up. Cameron Harrelson almost intercepted it. Who Ochoa was looking for was Eric Marin, who was in the back of the end zone that was underthrown. He was in the corner of the near side end zone. Marin was wide open, but Ochoa throwing that sprint out was across his body, just couldn't get the air underneath it to get it to Marin in the back of the end zone. So going to need a check here. The box is 2nd down and 10. The scoreboard has it right, I believe. It is 3rd down and 10. The 1st down play was where they clocked it, and I think maybe that's what Montwood's talking about. The coaches there on the sideline, we have a stoppage in play, and I think that may be the correction on that one, because like I said, the scoreboard says 3rd and 10. The box says 2nd and 10. After that completion to Cardenas to pick up the 1st down, they clocked it there, even though they really didn't have to, because the clock stopped with the 1st down. So let's see. Now Ochoa is going to run over to the near sideline to get some instruction from Mark Torres. White Hat's kind of looking around, walking around, looking confused there in the middle of the field. 10 seconds left in the ball game. Montwood 27, Pebble Hills 22. So they are not going to wind it. 10 seconds to go. Ochoa out of the shotgun from his own from the Montwood 17. Rolls, throws to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Pebble Hills.
Wow.
And it's Marcus from 17 yards out. Gael Ochoa with the late night magic. 4 seconds left. Pebble Hills 28, Montwood 27. Oh, my gentlemen.
Mr. Paul McKinnon, we have a last second at the buzzer victory by the Pebble Hills Spartans.
And do you go for 2, or do you even bother try to kick it? Because if you kick
that's what they're doing. They're Mount Pebble Hills is going crazy, but Mark Torres is trying to wrangle his troops here. You got to go for 2 here. Still 4 seconds left. so they will line up for the conversion here. Wow, what a throw. Ochoa, you saw that route. It was sort of a backyard play. Torres extended his route in towards the end zone for that catch. And what a beautiful catch. It's a 2-point conversion. It's going to be a sprint out to the right. Ochoa is going to keep it, throws, and it's going to be caught on the far side, and you can put 2 more on the board, and why not? Brandon Cardenas, who had 2 huge catches on that drive, puts Pebble Hills up 30-27. 4 seconds to go. Montwood has 2 timeouts left. What a comeback by the Pebble Hills Spartans, who at one point in this game were down 24-0 with 4:14 left in the third quarter. Wow, guys, what a finish here, and we still have 4 seconds left.
And it's what we talked about, Adrian. You never know what's going to happen in a game. Brandon Cardenas, the guy on the drive coming into this contest, 5 catches on the season for 98 yards. I think he got those 5 catches just on that last drive.
Man.
And some incredibly clutch ones. When Pebble Hills came back against Eastwood about a month ago, it was on the ground and pound and stuff it in. They didn't have time for that tonight. A totally different way. There's just something about these guys. They find a way to win. Good for them, and they're still young. That's the scary part.
Montwood led 17-0 at the half. They built on that lead with a 24-0. It was they had a 24. I believe it was 24
zip. Yeah, you're right.
So and then Pebble Hills marches back. And they beat them. At least is what we're seeing right now. 4 seconds left, pending, barring any disaster right here. Let's go back to Alex to see how this one wraps up.
Here comes the ensuing kickoff. It's a dribbling kick. It's fumbled at the 30, and then the up back is able to fall on it. They didn't run any time off the clock there. Lucky for Montwood as they kicked it right at one of the up backs there, trying to get his number here. Somebody's blocking him there, as that was actually been calling his name all night, Devin Rojas, with the recovery. So it's at his own 28-yard line. 4 seconds to go. Montwood still has 2 timeouts left, but 4 seconds to go. This is going to be the last play of the game. Maybe a hook and ladder, maybe a reverse. We're going to see Coach Fama maybe pull out all the stops here. And Mark Torres is seeing what I'm seeing. They didn't run a second off of that clock. Like I mentioned, they kicked it to Rojas, who fumbled it at first, didn't field it cleanly, and then fell on it. And there we go. The official's going to clear that up. So they're going to take 2 seconds off the clock, rightfully so there. So 2 seconds left. Pebble Hills 30, Montwood 27. One last gasp of air here for Montwood, trying to play spoiler here in the sack. 4 defensive backs are way back here for Pebble Hills, and Montwood's going to call a timeout. 2 seconds left here in the ballgame. Pebble Hills 30, Montwood 27. I mean, are we going to bet on that? Well, I don't know if we could bet on high school football, guys, but I mean, what's your play call here, Paul? I'm looking for maybe some trickery on this.
Yeah, it's the one with all the laterals, and you just keep lateraling it until you get tackled, and they take you to the ground, and you just lateral it anyway.
When you've heard of Cal Stanford, what if we have a Montwood Pebble Hill, something I'll never forget, but I know that was on a kickoff, so a little bit different scenario.
A little bit.
But 2 seconds to go. Montwood will have it at their own 28-yard line. Both teams huddle on their respective sideline. Pebble Hills, if you're a Franklin fan, you're on edge right now to be able to see what next week is going to lead, as Pebble Hills trying to hold on to it. Now Pebble Hills will put 5 defensive backs back deep inside their own 30-yard line here. Montwood still huddling on the far sideline. See what the Rams bring out here. Kevin Melendez on the evening, 11 of 17 passing, 124 yards, 292 total yards for Montwood, 397 for Pebble Hills, who had just about, I think, $120 at halftime. So major adjustments, like I mentioned, that needed to be happened. So here we go. Trips to the near side. Melendez out of the shotgun. Back to throw. Throws left, and it's going to be errant pass, and it's going to be incomplete behind his receiver. Time runs out. That is the ball.
There it is.
Pebble Hills has defeated Montwood 30-27. Quick stat rundown for you guys here. Gael Ochoa, 40 carries, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, unofficially passing 9 of 19, 140 yards. He started the game 2 of 7 for 7 yards in this ball game, and he would go on with a hot finish. And again, that touchdown pass to Marcus Torres from 17 yards out. Pebble Hills, 397 total yards of offense. They ran 80 plays to just 50 for Montwood, and Pebble Hills survives. They improved to 6-3 on the season, 5-1 overall, and they will set up a de facto, I guess you could say, district title matchup to see if they can share that district title with Franklin, who currently has the upper hand on that share. So all final from the SAC. Texas High School football after dark, gentlemen, and it's Pebble Hills knocking off Montwood 30-27.
I love it. Wow. Great job there, Alex. Great stuff out there at the SAC. That's how we're going to wrap things up, Paul. What a come-from-behind victory by the Pebble Hill Spartans.
Yeah, crazy night. So much for protecting your quarterback, right? Did I hear him right? Guile Ochoa, 40 carries. I'm not sure I've heard that before. A quarterback with 40 carries. And Ochoa's not a big guy. I mean, he's tall, but he's not big.
Yeah, I know. You're exactly right. Hey, before we wrap things up, let's go over next week.
You betcha.
Yeah, we have to, right? I think that's what we get paid to do. Let's check it out. It's Americas taking on Eastwood. That should be a very interesting game next week.
Playoff elimination game in 1-6A.
El Dorado taking on Bel Air. Not a lot of playoff hopes right there, although both teams already, de facto making it into the playoffs.
Trying to avoid Tascosa. That's what they ought to call that one.
Pebble Hills, Franklin. It's for the district title in 1-6A.
Yeah, our Week 11 just got a little bit better. I mean, selfishly, appreciate the effort from Montwood. They could have just mailed it in. But as far as what's good for us and our listeners, Pebble Hills Franklin for the district title next week. And, of course, Eastlake in that picture as well, hoping and praying for a three-way tie if Pebble Hills can pull off another miracle.
How about Del Valle Chapin?
What about it, man?
That's going to be a fantastic one.
I'll take Del Valle. You want Chapin?
I'll take Chapin. I'll stay on the Standard train. Okay. Canutillo Horizon. That's another big game that's next week. Jaime Chavez will be out at that one.
Ooh, yeah. Wow. I like Canutillo. I like him a lot, but boy, Horizon's been hot.
I'll take Canutillo on that one. Jefferson Andress. Jeremy Karanko will be out at that one. The way that things are going right now, I think Andress still, after hanging 70-plus points today against El Paso High, it's going to be tough for Jefferson.
And Jeremiah Cooper back on the field. A couple of pick sixes tonight. It seems like that was about 8 years ago, but it really was tonight, the same night.
Couple other games, El Paso Burgess, Bowie Austin. Those are a couple other games that we'll be covering next week. J.D. Sursley out at Burgess, El Paso, and Joey Panisi out at Bowie Austin.
Yeah, and remember that all four of the teams in 2-5A have been set. What place they're in hasn't been decided, but Andrews, Burgess, Austin, and those Jefferson Silver Foxes for the first time in a few years. Those are going to be your four playoff teams. So, Paul, as we wrap things up here on the show, any highlight players for tonight that you want to mention? Wow. Well, how about that Montwood safety who made play after play, Cam Harrelson? Couple of interceptions, a 29 interception return for a score. I believe there was a fumble recovery in there as well. A huge interception. The problem is his team didn't get the win. Yep. It was those dang Pebble Hills Spartans. Let's run down the final scoreboard one last time. Get you the final scores across town. Again, Franklin beats Americas 25-21. Horizon with a 54-14 victory over Hanks. Riverside and our Cisco Mover game of the week. They beat out Clint 42-7. Andress with a 72-8 victory over El Paso. Burgess defeating Irvin 54-20. Eastwood topping Coronado 41-19. And how about Parkland beating out Isleta 49-8. Austin beating out Jefferson 42-19. Del Valle with a 42-7 victory over Bel Air. Mountain View taking it on to San Elizario. 55-14 is the final for that game, and we just got it. It was Alex Nicolas with the call. It is a final. Pebble Hills defeating Montwood 30-27. That's how we're going to wrap things up here for Football Friday Night. For Paul McKinnon, Angel Munoz, our producer, I'm Adrian Broadus saying so long, and thanks so much for listening to Football Friday Night, only on 600 ESPN El Paso.